If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you running a business is tough. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you the visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Join the over 21,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/C-suite. netsuite.com/C-suite.
Happy New Year's from the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Quentin, and as always, you know I'm here with the homie Kevin.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gents? Guys and gals, I hope you're having a fun New Year's, a safe one as well. Don't do nothing we would do. And, you know...
You say we would or wouldn't. Don't do anything we would or wouldn't do.
The things we would do, my friend. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So, just to go ahead and preface this, I am sick.
He is.
I am not feeling well at all.
His cough is atrocious.
Don't you talk about my cough like that. But I'm afraid that it's something like pre-flu, if that's the thing, you know.
Sure.
Just because I'm feeling weak and, you know, my voice ain't what it used to be. I'll never be able to sing again.
Guilty. Throat has got no vocals, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call me Quentin Michaels, if you get that reference.
I know, right? We hope you do.
Yeah.
Please do.
But, yeah, other than that, everything's been pretty well with me. How about you? How you been since?
I've been doing good, man. You know, I've had a pretty fun past few days, going on some mini adventures. Yeah. It's been exciting. Work, life, the lack of excitement.
Okay,
Indeed.
I feel like you just contradicted yourself, but
Oh,
all right.
what? Did I lie to my friends and my fellow homies? Oh, shit. It's life. Come on. Yeah.
Yep.
But it's all good because we both have drinks.
Yeah. Mine is Robitussin and water. So, yeah, that's a delicious combination.
Oh, indeed.
Oh, yeah.
Mine is an energy beverage. I don't have the right to sponsor yet, so I'm not going to say name brands unless this company decides to pay me.
Oh, jeez.
Anyways, what are we doing tonight, my man?
Yeah, so before we get into the podcast, let's get into some comic news here.
Oh, yeah. What are some worthy news things?
Yeah, so
we talked about very little of it before.
Yeah. Because to be honest, I don't have a whole lot of comic news this week.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest. The one thing I have, though, is that Stan the Man Lee, he is now 95 years old. He was born December 28th, 1922.
In the roaring 20s, people.
Yeah.
Dadgum.
Yeah. You know, like we said before the podcast, he's about to see the 20s again.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Yeah, this man, he's just turning the century. Like, hey, what's going on, 20s? It's been a minute.
Yeah, the 20s is going to come around and be like, all right, here we go, guys. All right, another 100 years. Oh, shit, Stan Lee's still here? And Betty White? No.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. December 28th, 1922. But, you know, when I was looking up Stan Lee's birthday, it showed me, like, the birth dates for a bunch of other celebrities from the Marvel Universe.
Oh, yeah.
And one that it showed me was Andrew Garfield, and that one caught my eye because he has the same birthday as me.
What? I did not know that.
Yeah, well, he was born August 20th, except he was born in 83.
You have the same birthday as the hipster Spider-Man. Go you.
Yeah, so he was born a few years before me. But yeah, we do share the same birthday. So it's like, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that caught your eye. Yeah.
And there's a couple of August people. There's also Chris Hemsworth. He's born August 11th.
Close. Okay.
Yeah. Jack Kirby, August 28th, 1917. Jeez, Jack.
Damn.
Yeah. Well,
I
Jack.
did not know he was that old. My God.
Jack is dead, so.
Oh, touche. He's not old anymore.
No. Unfortunately.
No.
But yeah, that's unfortunately like all we have really in the way of comic news right now. Like I said, it's been as far as comic book news goes, it's been a slow week. I feel like most of the press and all has been aimed towards Star Wars in one way or another.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Yep. But moving on here, are you ready for your comic question of the week?
Indeed I am, my friend. Is it based on Batman tonight?
I thought about it, but I was like, nah, that'd be too easy.
No, it would be.
Yep. So
Maybe. I don't know. Last time you asked me that Solomon Grundy question, and I mean, that was just like, whoa, crickets are actually chirping in my head. All right, what's going on?
My heart still hurts, and I'm still disappointed from that.
Your heart will go on, buddy.
Oh, damn.
I'd be more proud of my listeners if they got that music reference too, especially my Canadian listeners. Do we have Canadian listeners? I don't even know. Canada, come and listen. Come be homies.
Maybe.
How do you say homies in a Canadian accent?
I don't know.
That's a fun thought. I don't know. Yeah.
Homies, eh? You want to be like that?
Homies, eh? I like it. Yeah. All right.
Okay. All right, so you ready for your question?
I am. Okay. Indeed, I am, buddy.
All right.
I might not have enough drink for this, but we'll see.
Okay, I need you to name the movie that this quote's coming from. So this is another movie quote. Okay.
Shit.
Yep.
I used to be so confident in these until your first one, and then it's like, oh.
Yeah. So here goes.
Okay.
What will you sacrifice for what you believe?
Okay. First one to come to mind is Bane. I'm not 100% confident on that. I think the first one being Bane is only because the last time you asked me a movie quote, you said that sick ass line of his from the third of the Batman trilogy. And I remember the answer was Bane then. I'm not sure if I want to do... Oh, by the way, if you guys hear that in the background, those are actual fireworks going off. Hooray!
Yeah, we're not in Georgia. Their concept of time is off. So they're
exactly,
shooting fireworks now. And it's 9:35 right now as of this recording.
So, preemptive celebratory fireworks. Yeah. Or maybe they just really don't want to stay up till midnight. Right. I'm stalling.
I know you are. Like, you are out of time. Like it's like
hit me with the quote again. Hit me with the quote again.
What will you sacrifice for what you believe?
I feel like you even tried to use the accent a little bit at the beginning. There. Not the accent, but the vocal tone of the character. DC, right? It is DC.
Negative, Kevin.
Son of a dick! No! Do not lie to me. Is that actually Marvel?
This is Marvel, yeah.
You son of a dick. Every time I think it's one, it's always the other. You suck so much. Give me a second here. Let me actually have a good, competent guess then. What will you sacrifice? Avengers 2 Age of Ultron.
Set by?
Ultron.
No. I mean, you're wrong altogether. So
what? Oh my God!
I wanted to give you some hope so I could take it away.
You did that, you son of a dick. What's the movie?
This quote is actually from Malekith in Thor: The Dark World.
Oh damn, dude!
Yeah.
You know I haven't seen that anytime recent. You know I haven't decided, man. I want to watch some Thor: Dark World again.
Yeah, I want to watch Thor 2 right now. It's like we haven't talked about Thor enough. Let's do some more.
It's like because I totally wanted to watch that movie again. What the? That was the weird elf looking dude, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Malekith, he's a dark elf.
Right. Okay.
But so that's the common question of the week.
We could sacrifice sucking it.
Damn.
That didn't make sense.
It didn't. I don't know what that meant. I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing.
I don't know.
But this week we are covering the Dark Knight trilogy, and you have no idea how ecstatic that makes me. I'm a huge fan of Batman. I feel like by now, if you've been listening to the podcast on a regular basis, you probably know that I'm a huge Batman fan.
Indeed, yeah.
And I'm a huge Christopher Nolan fan. And so you put those two together, and you have a very happy superhero homie.
Indeed.
Yep.
He'll literally watch the movies in his PJs just all day on the couch.
And that's exactly what I did.
Exactly.
I mean, I did it for research purposes, Kevin.
Oh, I know, buddy.
Research purposes.
I know. He said with a smile on his face, happy that he got to do it.
Don't you judge me.
Hey, I ain't judging nobody,
Judge
man.
me.
They're damn good movies. Yeah.
So, like, this is a little different format from what we usually do because, with these last couple Wednesday nights, we've been reviewing the Marvel Cinematic Universe, leading up into, I almost said Age of Ultron, leading up to Infinity War.
That is an old age, my friend.
Yeah, and like with this Dark Knight trilogy, we wanted to do it for a couple of reasons. One, we wanted to close out the new year and usher in. We wanted to close out the old year this year. 2017.
Nope, we're already closing out the new year. We have no hope.
Yeah. 2018 is going to be a bust, so we're going to skip and go right to 2019. But no, we wanted to close out the current year 2017 and open up the new year 2018 with the bang. And if you guys enjoy the Dark Knight trilogy as much as we do, then this should be a really fun podcast.
Indeed.
And also, we wanted to give a break from Marvel and explore other territories again,
Plus, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, we're going to be talking about the entirety of the trilogy. We're not going to focus only on, the second or the third or whatever. So we're doing 3 movies in a giant old blunt in one night.
Yeah. Kevin, I didn't know you smoke him.
But we all smoke it tonight. I don't.
So this is going to be a really fun one. And, I was talking to Kevin before the podcast, and I was like, this does like really suck that I would be sick on the night that we cover Batman. Like, what are the chances?
I mean, knock on wood, but I'm impressed you haven't coughed yet.
I've been struggling so hard.
I've noticed
to keep this cough down.
Well, keep drinking your Robitussin and your water, buddy.
Yeah, I got my Lil Wayne codeine over here. Turn up in 2017. Turn up. So of course we're gonna start this podcast off talking about Batman Begins. It'd be really weird if we started off talking about another Batman movie.
Right. Yeah.
So like one of the first things that I noticed during my rewatch of Batman Begins was that in the very first scene, Christopher Nolan, he actually modified the iconic Bruce Wayne falling through a well scene, and no one noticed or no one cared. I mean, it didn't bother me at all, but it was something that was worth noting, and that's because of the inclusion of Rachel Dawes. Of course, Rachel Dawes, she plays a significant role in the Dark Knight universe and Batman Begins and in the Dark Knight. However, she was not a comic book character. She's not canonized.
Right.
Yeah. So I heard,
which I thought was interesting, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I definitely understand it because Bruce Wayne, I think that maybe Chris Nolan felt like Bruce needed that kind of connection.
Right. He needed to be more humanized.
Right. And maybe, in the comics, there really wasn't a whole lot of that. Like, as far as childhood friends go, like, his really strong choice would be Tommy Elliott. And
which is not a good example. Yeah.
Which is not a good example. Yeah. For those of you who are familiar with Hush.
And maybe I'm getting ahead of myself a lot here. I don't want to press the gas too hard because obviously we'll go into greater detail in a few minutes here. Mm-hmm. But I feel like Christopher Nolan did an exceptional job of humanizing the entirety of the DC world. He didn't hit up those, complete supervillains who are on that whole nother almost fictional level, like Poison Ivy manipulating Earth itself, or Mr. Freeze shooting ice. Right. He chose the more down to earth Catwoman and type of villains like that, and he made some.
He also chose Joker, who was extremely out there.
Exactly, true. Mm-hmm. But
and Ra's al Ghul, who
right, but he also did a great job of making them, I won't say more likely, but in a sense, yes, more likely. Not that there's ninja monasteries and people making scarecrow masks with poison gas that often, but you get my point. Right. He definitely did humanize the series a lot.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah. And that's really one of the things that I enjoy about this Dark Knight trilogy, and and also just on the topic of Batman Begins, one thing that's interesting about this movie though is also that this is the first Batman movie that's had an origin for him. no other Batman movie has given him an origin.
That's true.
And so, like Christopher Nolan, he was tasked with a really hard assignment and making this come to life and creating that origin story and in keeping us as the audience engaged. That wasn't a simple thing to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially for an origin story, which is one of the most tragic origin stories in comic history.
Right.
Right.
And so, yeah, of course, unfortunately, we see Martha and Thomas get shot again.
Again.
Yeah, those poor people. They can't catch a break.
Nope.
Almost as bad as Uncle Ben,
Well, they're not ever going to catch a break. They just catch a bullet.
Yeah, they just catch bullets. that is all that's all they catch.
And Telltale didn't help him any either, because all of a sudden Thomas went from being the good father to being a good father and a criminal.
Yeah.
But that's Telltale Games.
Yeah, the Telltale game series, the Batman games.
Right.
Yeah, they're super fun. I mean, it's a new twist. But anyway, so like with Begins, like they do a lot of intercutting the origin with Bruce's training. Him going to where's the Himalayas at? Like, what part of the world is the Himalayas in?
Oh, dude, that's out in India, man.
India? Yeah.
Wait, holy shit! I just realized, like, I knew that until you asked me, and now I don't. So I'm confident. I feel like this is shit. Come on. Okay, it is in the Indian subcontinent. Is separating what? No, okay. Damn it! Just let me pull it up on the map. All right. The wording here is confusing me. Yes, it is. Oh, wow. Never mind. We're right and wrong. So it's bordering India, Nepal, China. Okay, and like it begins over in the Pakistan area over here, and goes off into the Bhutan. I'm not confident how to say that, guys. I'm showing my American.
Yep. Well, this is what I get. I asked a simple question and then return.
Hey, no. You asked a simple question, and now we know the answer to said question. Look at it that way.
I feel like none of us have any idea where the Himalayas are at still, unless we already knew.
Well, I'm looking at it on the map. Here, just look at the map. There you go. See?
Yes.
See? Yeah.
So the Himalayas are on the other side of the world from where we are.
Maybe that's what we should have said.
Yep.
We're going to go back and edit, folks.
But so this was really interesting because they intercut like Bruce's origin, like him and his parents going to the opera and them getting shot, and then also like his training in this region of the world. They intercut these two together, and I thought that was a really cool take because like I said earlier, I'm really not sure how to do a proper Batman origin story, but Chris Nolan and David Goyer did a fantastic job writing and directing this. But like one thing though about this though is that he's so he starts off and we're really not sure where he's at when we see adult Bruce. We just know that he's somewhere cold and somewhere foreign to Americans.
Right. Yeah, in that camp you're referring to, right?
Yeah, well, it was a prison camp.
Right.
And he goes and he almost starts fights, basically. And he's trying to punish criminals. And you can tell at this beginning scene that his fighting style is really raw. Like
he's just street
unfocused.
fighting.
Yeah. I mean, he's pretty good at it, but he's no Batman yet. But it's really fun to watch like this unadulterated Bruce Wayne just kind of try to cut his teeth on learning like about justice and revenge and vengeance and all that cool stuff. But I remember it was really fun watching the scene where the guards take him away and he goes, "Why are you taking me away?" And they go, "For protection." And Bruce goes, "I'm fine." And they go, No, we're protecting them from you.
Yeah.
And it's actually like once he gets thrown into like I guess their version of solitary confinement, which really wasn't solitary. It's when we see Ra's al Ghul for the first time, played by of course Liam Neeson.
Yeah. Punching wolves in the face.
And now of course at this part of the movie, like I mean, I'm trying to think because like going into the movie, if any of you listeners like saw this in the theater, then I really do want to know like how many people knew straight up, okay, this guy is definitely Ra's al Ghul, because this movie came out in 2005, really before like spoilers were all over the internet entirely.
Right, yeah.
Like, unless you were looking for it, I feel like maybe you didn't know, but you made the assumption. Because he goes under the name of Henry Ducard, who of course is also a comic book character as well. In the comics, though, Henry Ducard he helped Bruce Wayne in his training to really focus on his detective skills.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah, Bruce and Henry met in Paris, and then it was a really cool story actually, because eventually Bruce finds out that old Henry is he's actually doing some shady work also. So Bruce he has to kind of fight with that, and like his teacher, the man who's teaching him so much, is also corrupt.
Right.
And so he had to learn that lesson really early on as well.
You know, now that you describe in detail, a part of me kind of remembers that. I don't know from where, though. So, I don't know. Faint memory.
Yeah. I mean, he had kind of a reboot in a small reboot in the New 52. I don't know if maybe it's from that, but yeah. So what I also have here that's really interesting though is that because like here's the thing about this particular podcast episode right here is that as much as I want to, I can't go in depth like I want to say with the other Marvel podcasts, because we're covering 3 movies in one. So I mean, don't get me wrong, on a good day when my voice isn't killing me, I can talk about Batman maybe 12 hours if I'm trying to keep it short.
It's true, folks.
Yep. But because my voice is killing me, and because also we're covering 3 movies in one, we kind of have to speed through things a little bit more than I usually like to. So I'm kind of just hitting some of the high notes here, and some of the things that really stand out to me, and the things that really make this movie what I consider the masterpiece that it is. So rewatching movies is great, and one reason that it's great is because rewatching Batman Begins, and then it became clear to me that it's here in the first act that when Henry is training Bruce in this awesome training montage, that Henry drops the line, theatricality and deception are strong agents to the uninitiated. This is the first time this line is dropped. It's by Ra's al Ghul himself.
I did not realize that. Wow, that is awesome correlation there.
Yeah.
Crud.
Yeah, of course
that's a long span of correlation. Yeah.
Because, of course, that line is dropped again by Bane in Dark Knight Rises. And I remember that was where it stood out to me and where it became one of my favorite movie quotes. But no, actually, Ra's al Ghul dropped it here up in the Himalayas.
Yeah, I remember. I wrote it down whenever you dropped it to me in the in the question, the pre-podcast question. Yeah, theatricality and deception are powerful agents to the uninitiated. Yep. But we are initiated, aren't we?
Yep.
Yeah. Who wrote things down? All right.
So, yeah. How many people do you think Bruce actually killed when he set the little monastery on fire? Because there's the point.
I was wondering if we were going to talk about that.
Yeah, there's the point where he completes his training, does a great job. He's really smart about doing it.
Yep.
And then they bring a murderer to him, and they say, "This man has murdered people. You have to kill him, Bruce. Like, this is your final step, and then you're in." And
then he doesn't do it.
He doesn't. Yeah. He instead he takes the sword that they gave him, and he flicks like a piece of coal up into the gunpowder area, because they use gunpowder like when they do like the vanishing trick or whatever.
Sure.
The theatricality, and he said like maybe he should have flicked it somewhere else other than that. Because it explodes and like immediately like you see a guy go flying. He's like a fireball. Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a hot second here, and I'm going to pull from other Batman movies too. There seems to be okay, I'm not sure if I really want to go into this, but it's the first thought to come into mind, so I might butcher this, so bear with me here. Have you ever played the game where you have to start with a phrase, a simple phrase, right? And then there's a line of people you have to tell the phrase to. 15, 20 people long or whatever. Even 10. Whatever.
You mean like the telephone game?
Right. Thank you. I didn't know the name of it. Thank you. But you tell people the one phrase, and by the end of the line, after so many people, you get an entirely different sentence, you know? I feel like there's a small two-person telephone game going on between Batman in comics and Batman in movies. You know, it's like there's a loose transition there, and it's well done in movies. But knowing fans know when to question and what they're watching. You know, for instance, in Tim Burton's movie, you got the Batman who killed that guy over the roof. He dropped him off the edge of the building or whatever.
Well, Batman in the early Tim Burton movies, he blatantly killed people.
Exactly.
But no one made a stir about it, which is kind of weird. I guess maybe they were just excited.
A few people did. I've heard a few nerds get on to me about that. Like, wait a minute, Batman is so awesome. And they'll fight it, you know. And it's like, don't even try it, pal. Batman's kick ass, okay? Yeah. But it's like, okay.
No, like, the most blatant time he killed someone was in the second Batman movie by Tim Burton, Batman Returns, and take place in the Christmas season. So I hope you guys watch that for the holidays. And there's like
tis the season to be Batman.
Yeah, there's like this clown. Well, not really. He's like a Joker henchman, basically. Well, no, not a Joker henchman because Joker's dead. He's some kind of weird henchman.
Wait, was he a penguin henchman?
Yeah, must have been penguin.
I thought so. Yeah, I thought that's what the Christmas one was.
Yeah, Tim Burton's weird style.
Oh yeah. Nightmare Before Christmas-esque. Yeah,
so it's this weird henchman, and he has like this time bomb that he's going to try to set off, and Batman essentially he forces the time bomb like into the man's gut and then kicks him down, and then the man explodes.
Right. I mean, let's face it. Like I said, there's like a loose transition. Like the directors are just like, oh, he doesn't kill people in the comics. Okay. Well, okay, for this scene, you're gonna have to do this, you know.
Well, I feel like though in this movie, it wasn't a straight up kill. It was all, you know, and
right, like he wasn't killing everybody. He wasn't saying.
Well, it wasn't even directly killing people. It was all indirection.
For sure, and trust me, I'm not bringing this up to be like a point of argument or a point of discomfort even, you know. Right. I'm bringing it up more in the sense of it's a funny thought to me. Yeah.
But also, though, I mean, because I read a shitload of Batman comic books.
Right.
And so it's just a matter of disconnect because it's easier to overlook those indirect kills in the comics than it is in movies. It's more in your face when it happens in the movie than when it does in a comic book. So to say that, like, Batman never accidentally sometimes commits manslaughter is a lie. I mean... The shit does happen
in the comics as well.
Comics, yeah.
Okay, that's cool, and that's a smart point you're bringing up too. That's something I was unaware of about the easiness of overlooking those in the colored pages rather than on our colored screens.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Either way, I just wanted to bring it up, like just a fun thing to wag my finger at. You know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But where did we leave off, buddy?
We left off basically. With the monastery where the League of Shadows were training.
Right.
And Batman.
Oh, the coal flicking and... Yeah, Burning Man.
Yep. Now, what's really cool is that I got the opportunity to watch a lot of these deleted scenes. And like it was super cool seeing that like a lot of these were practical effects. And like I even took note of that before I got to the deleted scenes. I was like, a lot of this in these movies... You know, like there's not a lot of CGI. Like a lot of these things are actual stunts being done. Like for example, in this scene here, like I don't know if you remember the scene when Bruce and Henry fighting on the ice during part of his training.
You mean, yeah, I remember that. Christian Bale and Liam Neeson are actually fighting on real ice there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, seeing how a lot of that was done was really cool because you get to see, like, it shows you, like, the stunt men and they're practicing, like, an hockey rink. Yeah. You know, like, the exact same moves that we see our actors do in the movie.
Okay. It was just cool. Kind of learning how to be semi-graceful on a sheet of ice.
Yeah. And also, kudos to Liam and Christian because, Christopher Nolan said that actually they had very little time to do the choreography and to film that because they were in Iceland for the filming of that part of the movie.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but the ice was melting, and they were like, okay, we had to go from like having 15 people on the area to 10 to 5, you know, just because every time they hit the ice crack, they stop and then they look around and check.
Yeah. So here's my question: since you watched the scene, did Christian Bale actually like fall in the ice organically, Like, was that just like movie magic happening?
No, that part was movie magic. They're not going to put their main actor in the freaking in freezing ice water like
That's
that.
true. I was about to say that's some hard dedication. Someone give that man one of those golden trophies, you know.
But no, Christian Bale did a lot of his stunts throughout this trilogy.
Right.
Pretty much everything that they let him do, he did. One scene that they did not let him do entirely was after the monastery had blown up, and he was trying to save Henry Ducard / Ra's al Ghul.
Right.
And he was falling down like an icy mountainside, and then Bruce dives to catch him, and then he finally catches him. It's like as Henry is falling off the ledge, and then Bruce is halfway off the ledge.
Yeah, and doesn't it like pull him out of joint too or something like that?
A little bit, yeah. He uses what would eventually become the Batman Gauntlet to stop him and Henry from falling. Now, that was not done on green screen. No, they were actually on a slippery ice side, like a cliff. Yeah.
There better been at least a mattress underneath that. Like, nope.
Yeah. And so the stuntmen did the sliding and stopping part.
Okay.
And then they put Christian was actually there to, do the acting part of it.
Right.
So yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So Carmine Falcone is in this movie, and I love that Chris Nolan likes to put a lot of the mob bosses in this.
Yeah, I love that he did that even with some of the smaller characters like that, you know? I mean, I say smaller, but only because it's in comparison to Batman himself, and Ra's al Ghul himself, you know? Yeah. But no.
He's played by a guy named Tom Wilkinson, and the only reason I took a note of that is because this guy does a really good job as Falcone.
He really does. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing a second ago before you went into who that was,
he was super fun to watch. He organized, in this movie anyway, the death of Joe Chill. Of course, Joe Chill is the guy who killed Thomas and Martha Wayne. And so, yeah, it was super cool seeing, like, more the mob boss type mentality in this movie.
Yeah.
And thank goodness they got like an actor who was really dedicated to the part, because he really brought a lot of life to it, I felt. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, here it goes. Here, Bruce indirectly kills at least a dozen men. Yeah.
There it is again.
Yep, there it is again. Yep.
Wait, was this for a different scene?
No, for that same previous scene. Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering, like, wait a minute.
No. So, like, throughout watching this movie, like, I just came to some loose notes, and then I had to stop at the midway point, and I have down here, like, Cillian Murphy, Morgan Freeman, Liam Neeson, Gary Oldman, Michael Caine, of course, Christian Bale. Like, damn, they all do a great job. Like, Chris Nolan, his casting is...
Oh, yeah, no, he's impeccable,
damn
dude.
good.
And you notice he doesn't spread his wings when it comes to his casting. For his movie choices, he knows who he wants, and he gets them, you know? It's like, oh, I'm using a lot of the same names again?
Right.
Well, there's a purpose behind that.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. He uses Katie Holmes in this one for Rachel Dawes.
I wanted to bring that up, actually. Poor Katie Holmes, man. I wish he did not listen to Tom Cruise about that decision.
Yeah, reportedly, rumoredly. If you ask her, she'll say that she had prior obligations. She was filming some kind of mini-series during that time. So, who knows?
Well, I'm sure there's some truth to that, too, you know. But, yeah.
So, Batman likes to do spelunking and base jumping.
Yep.
Of course, Morgan Freeman doesn't buy any of that at all.
Oh, no, dude. No, I mean, and Morgan Freeman was perfect for that part.
Oh, yeah, as Lucius Fox. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He did a fantastic job as Lucius. And but it's just great, though, seeing how they bring Batman to life. Because once again, in all these other Batman movies we've seen, once the movie starts, he's just Batman.
Right. He's been established. It's a thing. And now we get to see the origin, the development, even the technology coming into this awesome person.
Right. Yeah, we get to see how he gets his suit. I mean, so apparently, like the bat suit itself was like a piece of military equipment. And Bruce, he asked Lucius, like, so why isn't this in production for the military? And Lucius goes, well, I guess the army doesn't think that a soldier's life is worth $300,000. Like, damn, that's an expensive suit.
That's expensive.
Yeah, it's not even the whole
depressing
suit.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, it was just like a bit of like extended torso armor, right? Because I don't remember it covering.
It's the torso, it's the sleeves, and, and it's the legs.
Okay. I don't remember, but I remember looking at it thinking like, damn, that's sleek, man.
Yeah.
I'd wear that.
Yeah. And also that was for the spelunking and
right.
Quote unquote. Yeah, that was for the spelunking and I remember Lucius said something along the lines of, this armor that they made is really for for ballistics. It can deflect knives to an extent and really tough armor. And he goes, why do you want it? And of course Bruce says spelunking, and Lucius goes, spelunking, cave diving.
Yeah.
And Lucius goes, you plan on encountering much gunfire in these caves?
Well, I mean, let's also face it, man. Luckily, this movie world's Bruce Wayne wasn't a fool about it either. Eventually, he's just like, Lucius, I need your help. Are you talking to me in your Batman voice? Yes. Come, watch these TV screens with me. Make sure you take control of the system. You know what scene I'm referring to. Right.
Yeah. And as far as the cape goes, that's where the base jumping comes into play.
Right. And I'm glad they explained that. Mm-hmm. They didn't just leave it as, and he's got a cape.
Yeah. Christopher Nolan, in the deleted scenes, he said that he really wanted like every piece of him to have functionality.
Because that's who Batman is in the comics.
Yeah. And so, the cape does serve a purpose, and it doesn't just get in the way. Thank goodness.
Oh, right.
Yep.
Because then someone would have to refer to The Incredibles. Yeah. They're listed on the capes. Yeah.
So, we also see, in this movie, Batman Begins, we see Batman at the 1 hour and 2 minute mark. And I thought that was really well done because the movie has such a strong pace and, like, we get to see so much character development for Bruce that you don't even realize that much of the movie has gone by before we first see Batman.
What was the appearance at? Can you remind me which scene? Like what he was up to, what he was fighting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was in in the warehouse scene, on the docks.
Sure.
Because nothing good ever happens on docks.
No, I mean movies have ruined docks, dude.
Yep.
They're not just for boats anymore.
No. If there's a dock and there's like these, the giant crates and containers,
right, or big metal warehouses,
exactly. Yeah. Nothing good ever happens there. I'm convinced that someone is either getting murdered or there's a drug deal going down.
Or there's a body hidden somewhere around there. Yep. Yeah.
Nothing good ever happens there. But it's in that scene where the crooked cop, Flask, he's partners with Jim Gordon.
Right.
And Flask is with Falcone in this scene, Falcone. And all of a sudden when they're doing like this drug inspection for the new shipment, their men start getting jacked left and right. And the first scene that we see him like full front on is great because like pretty much all the men are incapacitated at this point. And Falcone, he's sitting in the car and he loads up a shotgun, and then Batman reaches like through the sunroof and yanks him out. And because right before Batman yanks him out, Falcone goes, "Who the hell is that?" And Batman yanks him up and goes, "I'm Batman."
I heard your question. I'm here to answer.
Yep.
I remember watching that in the theaters, and it was terrifying, dude. Like, he did a damn good job in that scene.
Yeah. And that was the point of how the fight scenes in this movie were orchestrated.
Yeah.
Was because Chris Nolan said that he wanted to organize the fights almost like from the perspective of the henchman. Because to them, Batman, he's terrifying. He's ridiculously fast, and he's, like he can fly, he can disappear, and so that's what we see the fight scenes the way that we do. So I thought that was pretty cool. But so we see Batman finally just a little over an hour. That reminds me, I also have written here that to me the Batman voice of this movie is fine. Because you remember a couple years ago hearing a lot of people complain about the Bat voice, picking at the Batman voice.
You say a couple of years ago, but 2005 was over 10 years ago now. I don't remember that at all. I mean, I believe it. I mean, like,
not just this one though, like the whole trilogy.
I mean, I do remember hearing crap about it, but again, I was under the same mentality. I kind of brushed it off. Like, nah, he's doing fine, folks. They don't have to always give him the same voice explication there. You know, the whole voice changing technology. He can just do it him damn self. You know.
Yeah.
Any of us can really do it if we really wanted to. We just suck at it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah,
that was Batman, folks.
I thought it was fine though. Yeah. Also, though, like in a scene, it was either in the scene directly prior to us first seeing Batman, or right after us seeing him as Batman, is where Bruce Wayne, I believe he's talking to Jim Gordon, and I need to double check and see if I'm right, but I believe he's talking to Jim Gordon, and Gordon's like, well, what's with all the get up, you know,
the theatricals,
yeah. And then Batman drops the line. He goes, "Theocracy and deception are powerful agents to the uninitiated." So I was like, "Damn, that's twice. That's pretty awesome." Because of course I really love that line.
You know, real quick, actually, we've heard that line being dropped so much. Let's talk about it a little bit. Yeah. Who are the uninitiated, in your opinion?
The uninitiated are people who are not members of the League of Shadows. They're people who...
So in other words, the common criminals, those who have the fear, those who have not been trained.
Yeah, not even the common criminal, but the common man.
Even better said. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good real life application there, indeed. Cool.
Yeah. And yeah, you know, like the whole phrase, I think is super cool, even though it does sound really complex, of course.
Right.
Theatricality, referring to the sense of theater, the fact that Batman, you know, he can go around and, you know, puts on a costume and almost puts on a show. You know, same thing with the League as well. You know what I mean? They kind of put on
the smoke grenades,
and that's
the
where
disguises,
and that's where the deception part comes into play. Right. Theatricality and deception, because how many of these criminals thinks that Batman can actually fly or that he can disappear? There's a lot of them that do. So there's the theatricality and deception, and they are powerful agents. They're powerful uses in the hands of Bruce or anyone who knows these techniques. Yeah. You know, so they're super powerful.
It's a great phrase once you start to think about it, because it almost inspires one to not be uninitiated. It inspires one, in this phrase's case, to become initiated. That way they kind of rise above, like, oh, I'm not going to let the theatrics or the deception try to weigh me down like the common man, as we said earlier. Yeah. I just wanted to talk about that for a second, because it's come up a number of times now. And as proven, and as we will continue to prove, it's been a significant line in the trilogy.
Yeah. Most definitely. Yeah. But yeah, it's one of my favorite lines, and I'm glad he dropped it again.
Yeah. The League of Shadows motto.
The next note I have in here is swear to me.
Shit, dude. I'm going to take off my headset next time you do that. Damn.
Oh, you need to swear to me, Kevin.
No. Swear to me. I loved all those lines, though, that just became so popular over social media afterwards.
To me, they were so good because they were such Batman-like, you know? Like, I freaking love that scene.
I remember, you were just about to say it. Keep going,
Yeah, so it's the crooked cop again, Flask. And he's walking in the rain, and he's eating some kind of sandwich. And
because a rainy sandwich is good.
Yeah, I always thought that sandwich is instantly soggy.
I know, right? I mean, who wants that?
No one. And he gets snatched out of the air by Batman.
And he's like on the edge of the building, right? And he's like about to drop him off, and all of a sudden it's like, I can't remember how he led the line up, but he did it so well.
Batman, he goes like, he says something about the drugs, like, where are the drugs? And he goes, Batman. I think Batman says something about the drugs, because the drugs were split. Like half of the drugs were super laced with the Scarecrow toxin, and the other half were just normal drugs. Yeah.
Just normal laced.
Yeah. And Bruce or Batman was asking what's up with the drugs, and Flash goes, I don't know, I swear. And then he goes, swear to me.
Yeah. And he does something to like scare him, make him think he's dropping him.
Yeah. He drops some, but then he stops him right before he hits. And then the last time he drops some and then stops and then lets him go. Yeah. So
damn. There are them theatrics again.
Oh, yeah. There was theatrics, because otherwise, I mean, like in that situation, you don't know what's going on. You could think, oh my gosh, this bat creature has like telekinesis.
Right. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
When did bats do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotham looks like an Arkham game, and I love it.
Yeah. Actually, wait, I remember looking that up. I was curious as to where Gotham was for the movie.
For this movie, I think it was in Chicago.
Yeah. I can't remember where I read it, actually. I had it pulled up somewhere here. But yeah, it was a common city. And I was like, okay, that's cool.
It was either this one or The Dark Knight that was in Chicago.
Now, out of curiosity, I think I asked you this before, and you told me the answer, and I don't remember you telling me the answer. I just remember the act of you telling me. Where is Gotham City in the United States, in the comic realm, you know? Because it's not New York, right?
No.
So where's Gotham?
Gotham is here, Kevin.
No, don't point to your damn heart. No, don't put that away. You put that back. I know it's in our hearts because we love it so much. Yes. All of its dark and gritty sides and everything. But, like, what the shit?
Yeah. I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing with the Metropolis. I mean, we know that Smallville's in Kansas, but we don't really know where Metropolis is, or Coast City, or Central City.
Right, exactly. Like all these cool places that have been, you know, so well made for us. But I don't know. It was just interesting to think about. But yeah, I got it here. You're right. Both Batman Begins and The Dark Knight were shot in Chicago, Illinois.
That's right. Yep.
We had pizza there.
Oh, we did. That was
damn
great pizza.
Yeah, to you, Chicago. You guys got it.
My next note is once again, excuse me.
Do what you got.
Next note is fucking Joffrey.
Okay. I thought you were about to scream into the headset again, so I had to take off my headset. But yeah, I totally spaced on that until I watched Game of Thrones enough, and then I was like, oh crap, that's Joffrey.
Yep. So of course, like the actor who played Joffrey Baratheon in Game of Thrones, he's in this movie as he must have been super young.
Yeah, he really was. Yeah,
he was maybe 7 or 8 if I had to guess during this movie. But yeah, there's a scene though where like Batman kind of shows up outside of his doorstep, is kind of getting away from some bullshit, and the kid looked up and sees Batman, and you know, just kind of gives him hope. And I remember back in the day there being theories that he's going to grow up to be Robin, and now
I remember that
knowing what we know now about
no one thought that. Yeah, like
yeah. We haven't talked much about Katie Holmes. How do you feel she did in this movie?
I thought she did a pretty good job. Yeah. At the same time, I was a little depressed when I realized I was one of the many who didn't realize she was even replaced. You know? Yeah.
Well, I think the reason why it's so easy to overlook that Maggie Gyllenhaal replaced her is because the two do a seamless job of that character.
Right. They both really do, you know?
Yeah.
And that's a compliment to both of them.
Yeah.
You know?
A very powerful compliment to both of those actors.
Both to Katie Holmes for establishing the character and then for, you know, Sister Gyllenhaal to pick it up. Yeah. Wait, how did you say the last name? I'm afraid I just got it wrong. I knew I got it wrong. You son of a dick. Pronouncing names correctly. Gyllenhaal. My bad, Jake, and your sister.
Maggie.
Yeah. I knew that. Who said I didn't?
So the reason I bring up Rachel is because is at the scene right before Bruce's birthday party that she gives Bruce the arrowhead for his birthday. Of course, the arrowhead was like a little artifact they found at the beginning of the movie when they were children, and Bruce finds it and he falls down the well, and then as his dad is carrying him up into the house, Bruce gives the arrowhead to Rachel, and now in this scene she gives it back to him. And I have down here like, why she do that? Was it to remind him of his childhood? Was it to remind him of who he was? Or
I think so, yeah, because at this point he did just come back. If I'm not mistaken, in this movie, he did just come back to the world, and it's like, oh crap, Bruce Wayne is here again, and now he's like, you know, playing this billionaire playboy type. Yeah. So it's like, oh hey, don't forget who you are, okay? Don't forget where you come from, type thing. And
maybe that was it, yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I wanted to make sure of this. I'm 100% confident on it. I'm ready for you to tell me, however, your take on it too, in case my 100% confidence is a lie to myself. But the arrowhead, because it came from the character Katie Holmes was playing, It wasn't in the comics at all. Like, there was no Easter egg being done there. I can't think of one. I don't remember.
No, not that I know of, no.
Yeah, I was about to say. Unless Batman decided he stole one of Green Arrow's tips. And it's just like, this is precious to me, I'm keeping it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, just making sure there.
Right.
I thought it was just another cool creative liberty that they took.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
but
so.
It played well.
Yeah. So I do want to mention real quick because we briefly talked about it, but yeah, Bruce was gone for about 7 years.
Right.
And something else that the reason I mention that is because in this movie universe here, in the Dark Knight trilogy, I realized that Batman or Bruce Wayne becomes Batman right at age 30 because this next scene is his birthday party. He's celebrating his 30th birthday. And I was like, holy shit, I still have hope.
We gotta get a lot of money first, bud. And there ain't no way in hell I'm being Alfred. I'm not wise enough for that.
Kevin, I need you as Alfred. Swear to me.
I'll do my best, sir.
Yeah,
Time for me to go serve the shortest sentence ever for MI6. I feel like Alfred did some cool stuff for the British military. Is that true?
Oh,
Am I making that up?
He was a combat medic.
Yeah. I gotta go learn how to combat, and I gotta go learn how to medic.
Yeah, because you're going to have to stitch me up when I come back completely demolished.
Shit, Q, what did you get shot by?
Like, Kevin, I kid you not, as soon as I wanted to become Batman, I ran into, like, Killer Croc. I didn't even know that thing existed.
He listens to the podcast.
Yeah.
Killer Croc is in the sewers right now, just like, I need a bigger sewer. Augusta has a bad sewer.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Or for all we know, he could be in Gotham City. It could be in Georgia.
Yeah. Shit.
Running jokes.
Yep. The Zaz cameo I thought was equally cool and subtle. Because, like, unless you know to look for it, it's easy to overlook. You know?
I didn't get it until the second time I watched it. Because the first time I watched it, I don't think I watched it with you.
Yeah.
No. And then I watched it after knowing you better and hanging out more with you and everything. And I was like, oh. Yeah, can you tell me who that was? Yeah. Oh, Zaz.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And so it was cool seeing him again. He actually has 2 appearances in this movie. Yeah. The second time we see him is after all hell breaks loose and the fear spray pretty much gets infected in the entire region of Gotham known as the Narrows. And
at the end of the movie. Yeah. Okay.
And he's about to attack little Joffrey and Rachel. And Batman comes in and has his way with him.
He would have been doing Tyrion a favor.
Yeah. If only we knew then what we know now.
Exactly. Now we know why Joffrey got so effed up, man.
Yeah. And that reminds me of having my notes here. Fucking Joffrey again.
He can't get no love, man. I think actually because of the the power he held in that role as Joffrey, I think he actually got so much backlash that now he's just kind of like lost his savor for acting.
Yeah, he doesn't act anymore.
Yeah, he's just like, nah, I'm good, I'm done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that goes to show just how good of a job he did.
Right.
He did a great job as Joffrey. But also maybe it's because he just didn't have that same kind of passion for acting.
For sure.
Because
that's fair.
Because Lena Headey, Cersei, she gets the same kind of hate. But she loves it.
Exactly. Yeah. I actually read that same statement from her saying like, I'm cool with it every time people like pass me by in the booth or they call me some derogative term because it just means I'm doing a damn good job. Yeah.
So enough Game of Thrones. Let's get back to Batman.
Oh yeah, we're fans of everything, guys. Yeah. Most everything.
Yeah. So the next note I have in here is a kind of a quote from Liam Neeson from Ra's al Ghul, and he says something along the lines of, when he drops this line about twice, maybe 3 times in the movie.
Theocracy?
No. He says, justice is balance. And I was like, he still thinks he's Qui-Gon Jinn from Star Wars.
Christopher Nolan, cut. What'd I do wrong? Wrong role, brother. We didn't write that line into the script, okay?
But it's the truth, though.
No, Liam, stop. That movie was ages ago.
The Force is not strong with you.
No,
Chris.
no, the Force is not strong at all because there's no Force.
And that is what the League of Shadows is for. We're here to bring balance and the Force back to Gotham.
Christian Bale's just like, oh my gosh, I gotta, guys, can we just take 5? Shout out to you, Liam. You're awesome.
Scarecrow's defeat is hilarious. Do you remember?
Oh gosh, I do actually. Yeah, it's when he had his own gas applied to him, and all of a sudden he starts seeing the bat as a demon.
No, that's actually early in the movie. And
okay.
Let's back up to that scene really quick too.
Sure. Okay.
That's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Is after Jonathan Crane reveals to Rachel that I'm Scarecrow, and there's like this
I'm effed up.
Yeah. And there's this chase sequence, and he hits her with the fear toxin, and Batman shows up, and it's during this scene where Batman, he hits a button on his boot, and he summons the bats. That's a direct reference to Batman Year One.
Yeah.
During that same movie, when Batman, or during the same comic book, I mean, in that comic, Batman is in his first year of Batmaning, as you can guess from the title, and he hits a button on his boot when the cops are trying to get him, and he says something along the lines of, "It took me weeks to develop the correct ultrasound to call the bats, all of them, but I got it." Yeah. And he does the exact same thing in this movie. He doesn't say the line, but he doesn't need to because we get it.
We get it, yeah. It was a great looking scene. Mm-hmm. Like, they did that so well. Yeah. Yeah, those bats had to be, awesome, careful CGI work.
Yeah. Because there wasn't a lot of CG done in this movie at all.
Right.
One thing that is interesting, though, is that in the deleted scenes, they were talking about this, and they were like, this is actually one of the first scenes they did as test footage, just to show like the executives that they can do something like this in this movie.
Well, it's a great scene to do it with. Like, that's a money scene.
Yeah. Well, what they did was they had did like a little mini set, and they had a stuntman as Batman kind of drop down.
Sure.
And because he jumps down like a couple stories and hits the ground, like all cool, like
superhero landing.
Yeah. And then they did it completely CG, and like here's the thing, like I couldn't tell which one was which in the movie from 2005 because they showed both. They showed like the actual actor doing it, and then they showed the CGI doing it, and I was like, shit, I don't know. And then they made me feel pretty bad because they said they basically said something like, only the trained eye knows what to look for to see which one is CGI and which one isn't. I'm like, I do not have the trained eye for this.
Yep.
My guess is that maybe it was the cape. I think the cape, I could kind of tell the difference. But yeah,
no, that's humbling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a cool thing to do. So just on the topic of these deleted scenes and like the extras, the fighting in this movie, I had a greater appreciation for after watching the extras. For one thing, Christian Bale did a shitload of his own stuff, and they said he had like a really intense photographic memory because he can be taught something, and then like they said, like 30 minutes later he's got it, and I was like, damn, that's pretty cool. And then in this movie alone, he had 16 different fights to remember. I'm like, shit.
Yeah, I remember actually Tom Hardy commented the same thing. Since we were talking about the trilogy, I'm going to bring him in now. I remember listening to him in an interview talking about how he was so impressed with Christian Bale that it was almost intimidating at times. Yeah. And in the big fight at the end of the movie, yeah, he was like finally relieved when Christian Bale's like,
I'm tired.
I'm tired. Yeah.
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 Oh man. They used a newer form of martial arts for this movie, known as Keysi. It's like Keysi, and it's this cool mixture. I mean, like I like to watch MMA, but I'm no expert on it. Right. But it was like this cool mixture of like Brazilian jiu-jitsu and like maybe taekwondo. No, not really taekwondo. Maybe kickboxing. It's like this cool mixture.
Okay.
But it was really cool to see. Like, especially like seeing the stuntmen do it on one side of the screen and then them showing the actors do it like verbatim. It was really pretty cool to see. Okay. Yeah.
Not bad.
And man, like I just had a lot of appreciation for how these things are done. Like in one of the final scenes of the movie, the train scene where Ra's al Ghul, he's racing the train basically towards the center of Gotham, and Batman he grapples the train, and then he's kind of like gliding behind it.
Right.
I mean, well, the backdrop was CGI, but there was an actual moving thing. And there was an actual stunt man that was
swung along.
Yeah, who was swinging along.
That kind of looks a little fun.
It sounds it, but it looked terrifying.
Like the ultimate zipline adventure. We don't know where the zipline is going.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like that shit looks a little terrifying. Well, there's another one that we're going to talk about in The Dark Knight that definitely would shit my pants.
Oh, the zipline from the building to the bank
very beginning.
Top? Yeah,
that was super impressive, but no.
No?
No.
Okay. That's the first one that comes to mind, where it's like the common thugs dressed as clowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was super cool too, because just moving to that scene really quick at the beginning of Dark Knight, where we see those two thugs zipline, like that is no CGI, because they had those damn fancy IMAX cameras that they use from a helicopter view. Yeah. And they actually went from a building to another building, like ziplining down. Like, shit.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, good thing the Windy City didn't blow them over. You know?
Yeah.
All right.
So my the last note I have with this movie is that's a really dope Joker Easter egg at the end of the movie.
The card, super good. Yeah.
It's interesting though, because Batman, he's given the card and he goes, "I'll look into it." I'm like, obviously you haven't.
Right. Yeah.
But let me ask you this before we move on to The Dark Knight.
Yes.
Before The Dark Knight rises, like before he goes into his I guess his retreat, how long do you think Batman was Batmaning total?
Good question. I'd give him. I wouldn't give him like a full 2 years. I'd give him a year to two, like 14, 15 months, honestly.
From
the end, or the world, in their world, in their time frame.
Yeah, how long was he Batmaning?
From the end of Batman Begins to...
Yeah, from his beginning point as Batman to his reclusion at the end of The Dark Knight.
Wait, his reclusion at the end of the first movie, you mean?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't recluse at the end of that one. He stops Batman at the end of Dark Knight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shit. I'm imagining there's a good chunk of Batmaning in between the two movies. You know, the whole in between the panels type idea. So I'd give him. You know what? I don't know. Let me theorize even more years, because you know he had to have been Batmaning for a little longer. I don't know, actually. The more I think about it, I see pros and cons to like 5+ years, or even my original theory of 1 to 2. You know, how many do you think?
So originally, my theory was it was 4 years, about 4 years total that he was Batmaning.
Sure.
But then I read somewhere actually that, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I read somewhere that that Batman Begins actually takes place in 2007.
Okay.
Because of a reference made in The Dark Knight. And of course, The Dark Knight does actually take place in 2008, the year it came out in.
Okay,
so like,
in other words,
if that's the case, then he wasn't Batmaning long at all before he retired.
Right, exactly. He Batman maybe 14 months, debatably. Yeah.
I do like my theory better though, that that he was Batmaning for a strong 4 years before he retired.
But then I guess that does raise the question: what the hell was like he doing and the Joker doing in the meantime? You know,
that's true. Yeah. That is a good question. Like, what could Joker have been doing like the whole time before Batman finally looked into it?
Like, he drops one card, doesn't Joker. Batman keeps Batmaning, not concerned about the one card. And it's like, oh, we're going to pretend this is cool. Right. Okay, you could just drop the card on your dresser and get back to it when you want. Yeah. Like, okay.
Yeah. That's just something that I was curious about, though.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I mean, if you guys have a choice, tell us what you think for sure.
Yeah.
Or evidence, if you can point to the thing Q was referencing, leave it on the Facebook page.
Right. All in all, man, like I still really freaking love Batman Begins. Even after watching it, I think this is maybe my fourth or fifth time watching Batman Begins, and still freaking love it, man. Like, and I'm so glad that they chose the route to do more practical effects versus CGI, because CGI from '05 wouldn't live up. Hell,
No,
we talked
true.
about movies that happened in like '08 that don't hold up
Right.
with the CGI.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. Like the entire story, the casting, and the way that they did his origin, I thought was just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, man. I give Batman Begins a 9.0 out of 10.
Nice. Yeah. Are you waiting for my reference?
Yes, I am.
My rating?
Yes, I
It's
am.
been a while since I watched it, to be honest. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys and even pretend that I watched it recently. I still thoroughly enjoyed the movie, though. You know, again, it came out in 2015, where
2005. Yeah.
2005. Oh, wow, holy shit! What was I talking about earlier? A decade ago? That's 2 years, right? My bad. And, you know, that's 15-year-old Kevin Keister. You know, that's not exactly the same Kevin we're sitting with now
Right.
here at this mic. I mean, thinking about it, come back to me. I still thoroughly enjoyed the movie, nonetheless, dude. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, you don't have to give since you haven't seen it so long, you don't have to give
Yeah, I was about to say, can I just pass this time because I haven't seen it and I feel like whatever I say is going to be unfair, you know?
I suppose I'll let you slide this time.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks, buddy.
I'll give you a pass for now.
Here, have some more cough syrup.
You sure? I have been sipping this Robitussin / lean all night long, and I need to mix it with something now. It's time to cut it with Sprite. And
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you know, you know what time it is. It's just time to pour up.
we're not doing Kendrick Lamar.
Come on, man. Come on. You know what to say.
So, The Dark Knight is the next movie here in the trilogy.
Good segue, buddy.
Yep. My first note here is that The Dark Knight has my favorite opening scene
Oh
ever.
my gosh, for
Ever.
real. That was captivating. Every second of it was damn well done.
Yeah. And it was extremely challenging for the crew because they were like, okay, the opening scene for this movie, which is actually it was like a preview, because at the end of, or on the Batman Begins Blu-ray, there's an option to go ahead and watch the first 6 minutes of The Dark Knight.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was filmed, they filmed that one pretty far in advance, enough to have it available.
Right.
And so, yeah, the cast was like, wow, so the first thing we have to film with these IMAX cameras is a huge bank heist. And you know, it was a little intimidating because at that point, IMAX cameras have really just been used for documentaries and,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
like the filming the Penguins. What was it, March of the Penguins or something?
Sure, you know I didn't watch that. Yeah, no offense to the Penguins.
But this is the first time that an IMAX camera had been used on like an action movie. And so, yeah.
Cool
it was,
factoid.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it was a pretty big scale. And you can even tell the difference. Like, even now, looking back at it, you can tell a visual difference with these IMAX cameras. But, yeah, what you think about this opening scene?
Oh my gosh, dude. I fanned over the scene the minute I watched it, you know? I mean, every second of the scene, first off, was just so well done. And you're right, not just on the cast part, but also on the crew's part as well. Because I didn't think about that. I didn't even know that about the IMAX cameras. But, dude, everything in the scene is just so well done. And it builds up to this intimidating legend. So I hear this guy, you know, he does this and he does that. And it's like, he expects us to get him the money. He's not even here right now. Then, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you see I'm going to blow it, I know. The Romero reference?
Yeah, the Cesar Romero mask.
Yeah, thank you. I was about to call him George. He's not the zombie reference.
No.
But yeah, you see the mask, and all of a sudden you pull him off, and you see for the first time this gruesome and this dark, obviously not Mark Hamill Joker. And you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that the smear? Oh shit. You know, you see the scars, and it's just so well done. And it just shows, like, not just the madness and the craziness of this guy, but also just the genius. Because he just pulls away in a damn bus into the freaking traffic.
Yeah.
He's just like, and no one stops and questions that, like, oh shit, this bus just got in a wreck? Okay, and he's back in our bus line. Right. We're just going to go bussing along.
Yeah, and that was one thing I had written in my notes here. Is that I don't know how he got away with that.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Either way, it made for a damn good entrance, and it made for a damn clever getaway.
Yeah.
And even the bank owner, I know I've seen that actor in other movies and roles. He's also very talented. Just that alone was great for even building more the criminal world at this time in the Batman universe, and also the power that the Joker can carry with just who he is and what he does with his resources.
Right.
So good.
I believe that what doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger. Yeah, that whole opening scene was super intense. Like, it's something that you can really take for granted as a moviegoer. But I can only imagine, so this movie was, of course, directed by Chris Nolan. It was written by Chris and Jonathan Nolan, but the story was by Christopher Nolan and David Goyer. So I'd assume that, like, between those three, there was probably a lot of arguing about, okay, no, it has to be done like this, okay, so this bank heist guy has to say this, because there's a lot of logistics that goes into...
It's like a very careful game of chess, you know? Oh, this piece is doing his job, check, and now, you kill him off. Then this same piece who just killed gets killed off. Right. And you have to create this super careful domino track. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It was so well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say this, though. And this is not just a comment on the scene itself, though it did build up the legend of the Joker, but also on the character of the Joker and Heath Ledger's performance in general. The one thing I really didn't like about this movie was all the impersonators that it created. So many people wanted to talk like the Joker and I'm say his same lines. It's like, okay,
I'm glad you brought that up, because even when I was taking notes for this movie, I was like, I thought I had the same thought in the same film. Like, I'm so tired of people, because it happened immediately, and it didn't die down for years, and it still happens from time to time.
So this movie came out in 2008. In 2009, I went to live in California for a while, and it was still going on by the time I came home from California in 2011.
Yeah, people trying to, of course, imitate Heath Ledger and do their best impersonation, and I'm like...
And I cannot tell you how many times people try to tell me about their damn magic tricks, okay? Yeah. Put your pencils away, you douchebags. Like, not you guys, not the homies.
No, not the homies.
We're venting.
Unless you guys were one of those.
And that's okay, you know? That's okay. We all said his line sometime extracurricularly. Whatever.
Yeah. Excuse me. That was a cough.
You good, bud. Yeah. You good. Good turn.
Yeah.
He just dabbed.
I did. I just dabbed. Yeah. But
cough dab.
Yeah. So the next scene we see is immediately the Batman scene. And
the Batman scene in the Batman movie.
Of course, the opening Batman scene. Thank you very much.
True. Yeah, I was.
You're being a jerk.
I know.
But in this opening Batman scene, of course, we also see our boy Jonathan Crane again, Scarecrow.
Yeah, I was happy they called him back. They didn't Marvel him.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that a call out? Oh, I guess it was.
A little bit. In actuality, now that I think about it, not until Dark Knight Rises that any villains actually die for sure.
What do you mean? In the Marvel Universe? Or what?
No. In the Batman movie, I said it's not until the Dark Knight Rises that any villains die for sure.
For sure.
I'm not sure where you got Marvel from.
No, I heard your comments and I was trying to... Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because people say that Ra's al Ghul died, but as we'll get to in The Dark Knight Rises...
Yeah,
probably.
I was about to say. And if you really know the character from the comics, you know death for him is just like crap, got that death again. You better go get it checked up on my Dr. Fountain. Yeah.
Scarecrow, he for sure lived. Joker lived. I'm wrong. Two-Face died hard. Two-Face died.
That's true. Yep. Good old Harvey.
Yep. Which you can also say Batman indirectly killed him also.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the cool thing about this opening Batman scene, though, is that, like, you can actually take away the bank heist scene, and this would still be a great opener.
That's true.
Yeah. Because, of course, we have Scarecrow trying to cut some kind of deal with some mob bosses. Things go sideways, and a bunch of Batman impersonators show up wearing hockey pads. And
I remember watching the scene, actually, and all of a sudden, like, I was distraught. I cannot tell you the emotional gravity I felt in my seat when I saw the silhouette there. And I'm just like, okay, here's Batman. He's about to do some badass Batman shit. And all of a sudden he turns and you see the shotgun. And I'm just like, what? And he shoots it. I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
What? No, Batman doesn't do that. Who is this in person? You know.
I mean, but fortunately, you can tell obviously by the face that was not Batman.
Right. You see him walking and moving, and then just like, okay, who's this fat kid?
Right. Yeah, and then like a couple more show up, like 2 or 3 more show up.
Yeah.
And then the actual Batman shows up and gets shit done.
They were members of the Batman Club. Yeah.
Well, Batman fan club.
His name is Batman.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it was just cool to see Batman, like, cause like he's definitely more established now, you know, and just the way that he jumps like in a parking deck and he lands like a couple stories down, right on top of the van that Scarecrow's in, and you know, this actually leads him to get a new suit, and I love how they did that. How they took something meta and put it in the story, because like in reality, up until The Dark Knight, Batman had never been able to turn his head in any movie. You know. Now they finally gave him a way to turn his head, and you know, and they told the truth, like in the deleted scenes when they were talking about Batman's suit. You know, Chris was like, you know, we thought about ways for functionality. Because, you know, we need Christian to be, you know, more flexible and be a little bit quicker. And they're like, well, why not just make that the reason in the movie? And that's what they did, So, but it worked out really well. What do you think of the new Batman design?
I really liked it, actually. It played well into a comment I remember you making about the Batman in the comics rather than the Batman in the movie, though it reflects perfectly. I remember in the comics you were describing the armor to me on one of our Batman comic conversations, one of our many. And you said in his beginning days, he definitely had the more ironclad look to his armor because it's his beginning stages. He's still kind of criminal fighting. He's still learning. He's still like, you know, understanding the best ways to use his energy and to not be super like rambunctious to wasteful with his combat style. Instead, he becomes more efficient, and eventually he becomes more confident and says, you know what? I want flexibility. Let's get rid of the excessive neck armor or whatever and get something going there. I remember you describing that to me, and I thought that this newer armor not only reflected that, but it looked good.
It did.
It really did.
It looked practical and it looked real.
Lucius Fox did a great job designing the next set. Yeah.
So I thought the suit was super badass. One of the first scenes we see Harvey Dent in was a huge mislead for me as a comic reader. I mean, in a good way. I didn't mind it. It was fine. Okay. But we see Harvey Dent and he's in court. And this time, since Falcone, he's put away in jail. I think he's in Arkham. Scarecrow hit him with the fear toss, and Batman Begins. Yeah. But anyways, in this movie, we have Salvatore Maroni, and the other major crime boss in Gotham City. Right. And he's in court, but on the stand right now was a little henchman of his. Right.
Well, not a little henchman. He was a little cog in the machine, but he definitely was a little chubby. Yeah.
Damn. Yep. And of course Harvey Dent was the lawyer, the attorney for this one. And now what I thought was going to happen, I was like, oh, this is happening already. Because, of course, in the comic books, The Long Halloween, to be exact, is when Harvey Dent, he's in a court case with the big crime boss. I forget if it was Maroni or Falcone. It was one of the two. But it's in this court case that the guy on the stand, the henchman, throws acid into his face. And that's how Harvey Dent becomes Two-Face. Of course, it didn't happen this way here, but I thought it was an interesting mislead because... surely like they could have been led to think that. I'm
kind of glad they didn't jump into it like that, to be honest, because it really would wonked up the pacing.
It would have screwed up the pacing big time.
Especially for a story that was already so awesome. You know? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, the next quote I have on here is, of course, the iconic line that's dropped here. And I love this whole scene, but I'm going to preface the scene by stating this quote here. You either die a hero or you live well enough to see yourself become the villain.
This movie had so many awesome lines. So many cool ones and so many creepy cool ones because of the Joker. That was definitely one of the greatest ones that has stood. You know? Yeah. That one and one other at the end, which obviously we're going to talk about.
Right.
But, dadgum, yeah, this movie just was a kingpin of lines, man. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Really, I guess you could say that about the trilogy.
You can say about the trilogy, because everything comes full circle.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Caine's got some cool shit, too.
Oh,
you know? Yeah.
They all do. They all do.
Yeah.
So, actually, I have a note in here that says The Long Halloween, because I feel like in this movie there are a lot of references to The Long Halloween. And to me, one of the strongest references is the ally or the bond formed between Batman, Detective Gordon, and District Attorney Harvey Dent. Because, of course, I think that was fireworks people, if you heard that in the background. Cool. But, of course, in The Long Halloween, this is still also pretty early in Batman's career. And these three men form a bond to try to bring down organized crime in Gotham. And so it's like, that is definitely a direct callback. And once again, in the DVD extras, it was David S. Goyer, like the screenplay writer for the movie. He even talks about how he would go into a comic book shop that his friend owned, and he got like a shit ton of Batman graphic novels and comic books. And he did this for The Dark Knight and for and for Batman Begins.
Right.
And I remember when he said he was getting them for Batman Begins, his friend who owned the comic shop said, "Why are you getting so many of these Batman graphic novels? Are you working on a new Batman movie?" and David Goyer had to keep things on the hush. He had to keep things on the low. So he was like, "No, dog, I ain't doing that."
Nah, man, I'm not directly lying to you. Just indirectly.
Yeah, I'm just indirectly lying to you. Yeah. Don't you think that I'd tell you if I was writing a new Batman movie? Ignore my winking. It's a compulsion.
I'm seizing right now.
Yeah. Oh, man. Funny enough, like I just mentioned The Long Halloween, and then like I feel like the next reference that they use here is The Killing Joke.
Dadgum, man.
Yeah. And I'd say that mostly because of the different references that Joker uses to describe his own origin. And I love how they keep it, ambiguous. Like, we don't know.
Right. And I mean, that's where it needed to be.
Yeah. There was an article online. I didn't read it in its entirety, but it was about the magic trick scene, and it said that actually the magic trick scene, there's a chance that it actually couldn't kill you. I was like, that pencil disappeared into that man's eyeball.
Nah, I'm sorry. If it didn't kill you, it practically killed you.
Yeah. Like, his eye is gone, and like his brain is severely damaged.
Right. Like there's no real coming back from that.
No. Like, where does it go if not your brain? Like,
exactly.
What happened to that pencil? Because the whole thing was gone.
Like, I'm impressed if he would still be alive, but it wouldn't impersonate upon me that he's actually alive anymore. At that point, that pencil ruined that man's normal way of living.
Right.
Okay, whatever definition or belief you want to go by.
Yeah.
Joker did what he wanted to do. He incapacitated this individual.
Right.
Magically.
So, what do you think about the theories for the Joker in this movie about his origins? Like, have you heard any of them, or do you think there's any credence to any of them? Or
honestly, no. I mean, remember, this movie, just like its predecessor and just like, the one after it, they all had creative liberties taken upon them, Joker included, Bane included, all some stuff was made up for these characters that already existed, right? Honestly, I feel like that was them just making up some cool, logical for this demented, mad, awesomely, geniusly crazy character. I didn't ever really think that, maybe that could have actually been it. Instead, it was more like a jovial, wow, damn, that's okay. Yeah. Oh, he told a totally different one here. Yeah. Oh, he even told a totally different one here. Right.
Well, yeah. Really what I was referring to, though, is like there's theories out there that say the Joker's origin in the Dark Knight universe was actually he was a soldier. That's one theory.
Those. I actually haven't heard too many of those. Why don't you explain, please?
Yeah. So one says that Joker was a soldier, which explains a lot of things that he says and does.
Sure. And also explains a lot of his tactical thinking.
Yeah, explains a lot of his tactical thinking, his strategic prowess. It explains, like, during the parade scene when they were celebrating the mayor, how he knew exactly the gun formation and all that for the rifle firing.
True.
They also talk about how when he goes to visit Harvey Dent in the hospital, he says, you know, if you tell the world that a convoy of soldiers is going to blow up tomorrow, nobody panics because it's all according to plan. You know, the thing that maybe he was drawing that from his own personal reference.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple.
Thinking of another bit of evidence to support that from, it would also support the idea that, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Remember, the only bit of evidence he left behind in one certain scene was a bullet in the brick, you know? And a soldier would know that someone's going to run forensics on that. Yeah. So that's super cool.
Yeah.
I'm not sure to what extent.
The bullet was not in that brick.
It wasn't the bullet?
Well, no, there was a bullet hole and Batman did his Batman thing and took...
Yeah. Okay. All right. So never mind that. I thought that was like an intentional thing that he left, like waiting for someone to get some crazy forensics done or something. Not to the extent he...
The Joker, he does successfully stay 2 to 3 steps ahead of everybody in this movie.
Right.
Which I think was phenomenal.
Okay. Well, maybe he was a soldier. Who knows?
There's another theory, though. And this one, to me, doesn't hold hardly any water at all. I'm not sure what evidence they showed to support this particular theory.
Describe this holy bucket to me, then.
The theory is that he and Bruce are actually brothers.
Nope. We're done here.
Yeah. We're done.
We're done, brother.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you get that theory from the movie.
No.
You know, you really have to make some bridges there to make that theory work. I don't see it. I love the scene though when they were in Hong Kong, and because Batman had to get the Hong Kong diplomat, like the accountant business owner guy,
right?
And during this scene, this is one of 2 scenes I believe when Batman has the ghost shell eyes. Of course, the ghost shell eyes refer to like the pure white eyes coming from the cowl. And in the movie, they used it to show that he was using the sonar technology to view the insides of the building, which I thought was a great touch because it made the comic fans happy and it was a cool piece of technology, you know. So I thought that was pretty badass. What'd you think of Batman and Joker's first encounter? The first encounter was in Bruce's penthouse. He was throwing a gathering for Harvey Dent,
right?
Fundraiser.
Damn, I mean, where to really begin? It was a very creative first encounter because, I don't know, I knowing the extent of the history we have of Batman and Joker versing each other constantly in the comics, this was a cool setting for them to do it in the party, you know? It played off super well. It's not what I would have imagined if someone were to task me even of building the scene of their first encounter, but it played off super well. It played into the strengths of both Batman and Joker.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, for one, it was kind of cool on just the level and like, oh crap, Joker is actually kind of a big threat in person too. You know, he's not just this maniacal, crazy yet awesome genius type of criminal lord who's able to do things outside of the scene, but in the scene too he's able to be observational and able to, you know, think quick on his feet. Yeah. And it was just super cool watching him and Batman interact there, and of course Rachel in the middle of it too, just adding a complication even.
I love that Michael Caine forgot his line when he first saw Heath Ledger's Joker. This is the first time that he had seen...
Really?
Yeah, this is the first time that he had seen Heath at all in the Joker getup.
Right.
And even if you look at it on the Blu-ray, you can see like just the sheer look of shock on his face when he sees Heath. And he was supposed to have a line right there. But,
really?
Yeah. But he completely forgot it. And that's the take that Chris went with. Yeah. Christopher Nolan.
Well, that was organic. That was
yeah. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool, and like I did thoroughly enjoy seeing them on screen together for the first time in years. And I even love the setup. For the setup, he's telling Rachel about how he got his scars again, in quotation marks.
I know, right?
And,
my father was a drunk.
Yeah. This time he's saying that his wife, there's something with his wife, and she was upset.
Was that this one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. The
I
first
just
one
wanted
with
to
his
see her
father.
smile again.
Yeah. And he talked about how he took a razor blade and he swished it around in his mouth, and that's how he got his scars. And then of course she knees him in the groin, and he's like, "Oh, you're feisty. I like you." And then Batman says, "Well, you're gonna love me." And I'm like, "Shit, Batman is a ninja. No one saw him." Like,
Exactly. Like in this whole party, all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, Batman's here."
Oh yeah. Now what happened next was interesting, and I'm not sure. I'm still not sure exactly how I feel about it per se. I don't know if it, but then again, I don't know exactly what you do in the situation. So,
Okay.
Joker has Rachel like leaning over the edge of the penthouse,
Right.
and Batman says, "Let her go," and Joker goes, "Poor choice of words." And he does indeed let her go, and Batman dives after her and saves her. But he left everyone else at the party like unattended. Like Joker and his men could have mowed down
So many
everyone
more
there.
people, yeah.
But they didn't. I mean, I assume maybe that because they don't show us this, but I assume that maybe Batman got back up there really fast. But you can still. I was like, I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, the thing I remind myself on that, and this is why I called the Joker observational earlier, because it was that scene which led to him later in the movie saying, "The way you dived after her," all that cool stuff.
Yeah.
So it played into the story and into the continuation of the Joker's plot more so,
Yeah.
Did Batman abandon a party full of rich people? Sure. We're not going to argue that, He left the Joker up there with his thugs and these old people, but whatever. He saved Rachel.
That he did.
Yeah.
That he did. Yep. And what's interesting about this scene also was that the Joker was there, of course, looking for Harvey Dent, looking to kill Harvey Dent.
Where's Harvey? Have you seen him? Do you know him? No? Okay.
But what's awesome, though, is that he had just successfully killed the commissioner and the judge. He killed Commissioner Loeb and it was such a cool scene because it was like almost like a montage, like an intercut of different scenes. Like for the commissioner, he was sitting at his desk and he pulled out like a bottle of alcohol. It was dark liquor. I couldn't make out exactly what kind it was.
I don't remember. Yeah. Something expensive.
Yeah. And Commissioner Gordon says, "Well, we got to be careful because we think that the Joker's trying to kill you. He could have anything. It could be something like some type of your DNA, maybe your fingerprints." And then he says that as soon as he sees the commissioner take a drink from his glass, no. And then it was some kind of poison that took him out quick.
Oh my gosh, it was something sick.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know, like a type of cyanide. Or
Yeah.
something. And it was so cool how that happened, if I may continue for you, in continuation with, the judge's death. Like, look up, and all of a sudden it's like,
yeah.
and she's in a car. What the hell is up in her car? Then all of a sudden,
Right. Yeah.
you're like, okay.
Yeah. That's exactly how she got dead. So I thought it was like super cool just to see Joker's plan come together the way that it does.
So well.
Yeah, it's like he's an unstoppable force. Like no one can
literally,
compete
people
with this.
became his pawns.
Yeah. I mean, actually, do you know about the Riddler theory in this movie? Do you think that has any credence to it?
Actually, I wanted to.
Yeah.
I really did want to believe that.
Right.
Because his name, they chose that name on purpose, damn
Right.
it. They knew what they were choosing.
Now, what's interesting is that he does have a first name in this movie, and Joker refers to him once by that first name.
Yeah.
So the gentleman we're talking about, he works for Wayne Enterprises, and he's a small, frail-looking, red-headed gentleman.
Yes, I was going to ask you what hair color he had, just to let the audience hear it.
Yeah.
The truth.
And he deduces that Bruce Wayne must be Batman. And he has some pretty damning evidence. So that also is like kind of a red flag that he's that intelligent to figure that out, and also his appearance. And now his name is Coleman Reese, but he's only called that once in the movie. Every other time he's spoken to in the movie, he's referred to as Mr. Reese. Mr. Reese, get it?
Yeah. But
Yep.
yeah.
And so
I remember my first time noticing it whenever Lucius Fox called him that. It's like, so your theory is to go to the man who has this blah 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 whatever awesome thing you said that was intimidating as equally smooth, you know?
Yeah.
And he was just like, thank you, Mr. Reese. That'll be all.
Yeah.
And some cool shit. It's like, oh, I got that name. I know that reference.
And yeah, it could have been like a sly, a sly Riddler reference, or maybe it's all just some kind of weird coincidence. But
I'm not gonna give it a whole coincidence thing. I think I'm just gonna call it an Easter egg, and that's the only power I'm gonna give it.
right.
You know,
I wish that there had been some kind of green on him, maybe. But maybe that
like
would have been
green
too much.
tie
Yeah.
but
Something
that would
small.
have been overkill.
Yeah.
Maybe a dark green, even. You know, like a business green,
Right.
not like a party green or something.
Yeah,
Not like a shamrock. Yeah, but
Right.
you get it.
I mean, obviously, like his name wasn't Edward Nygma. That wouldn't even be a theory. That'd be a fact.
Exactly. That would be a hard thing that happened. Yeah. I mean, it's cool, but
Right.
yeah.
The convoy scene was it my favorite scene in the movie? It may have been my favorite scene in the movie, and I just love the entire setup. So right now, the premise is that we think that Detective Gordon is dead, that he got shot saving the mayor. Harvey Dent has come out and said that he's Batman. So now he's in this convoy being taken to, I assume, maybe Arkham or someplace for holding. And it's during this convoy scene that they have like all these police vehicles lined up, of course, escorting Harvey Dent to wherever. And it's when we get this amazing scene when Joker has plan after plan and distraction after distraction, and he pretty much forces them to take a detour.
I liked the irony he used, by the way. He made a blockade with fire.
On a fire truck.
On a fire truck.
Yeah.
I just liked that.
Yeah. And I feel like that was certainly done on purpose.
Oh, yeah. You know the Joker's just like, oh, hey, here's some irony.
Yeah. And, so we have this cool-ass convoy scene. And Joker has, like, freaking rocket launchers. And he's doing everything he can to get to Harvey Dent. And then in this scene, we finally see Batman with the tumbler. And Batman comes through with that tank, that beast of a vehicle.
I know, right?
And just continues to wreck shit, literally and figuratively. And he takes a rocket launcher for the convoy that Harvey Dent's in. So, I mean, otherwise it would have been destroyed. And but the tumbler can take it, and the tumbler hits the ground, but the tumbler is now in critical condition.
Yeah.
And now we get like just this mind-blowingly cool-ass scene.
Yeah.
Where, because when I first saw it, I was like, oh man, like what? The freaking tumbler got hit. Damn it
right.
all.
There goes that top grade military vehicle. Shit, what's Batman gonna drive now?
You're right.
A Honda?
How's he gonna catch? How you should drive a Honda? Thank you very much.
There's nothing wrong with a Honda, but Batman driving a Honda? Come on.
That's very true. Yeah. So he initiates some kind of sequence. We're not really sure what he's doing, but like 2 tires on the tumbler starts revving, and we're like, well, what's happening here? And then all of a sudden, I guess he has some form of Siri in the
I
in
think
the tumbler,
so, yeah.
because the computer's talking to him, and she goes, I forget exactly what she says, but her last words were goodbye, and then she ejects him, and then the tumbler explodes, which is really smart, leaving no evidence.
Right, yeah.
And then we see this cool ass bat bike, the bat pod, and man, on the deleted scenes, man, like watching the hell they had to go through to make this thing possible.
Really?
Because this wasn't just like a CG bike. This was the actual functioning thing.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, wait. So let me break it apart here. Was it... How did they do it? Was part of it CG? Like part of the bike was? Or...
Like when you see the wheels like literally tumble... That part, of course, was CG because wheels can't do that.
Right? No, that doesn't. Yeah, that didn't make sense to me then. You know, it was super cool to watch. It made sense in the Batman realm, but in trying to transverse it to reality, it's like nope.
Well, they had actual guys because like I was able to actually follow what they were talking about because I work at a car dealership in the parts department, and so when they were talking about the logistics of making pretty much like a motorcycle / pod from a vehicle, you know how they had to like disconnect the rear chassis and then take the front axle and then find a way to merge the two, and then it was super detailed because they actually made a functioning.
So they took the idea of a classic motorcycle, flattened it out, turned it into more like a crotch rocket, but more like a lying down,
you have
a
to
chest rocket.
You have to lay down to drive it.
Cool, very cool.
And yeah, like, it was just super cool seeing it because at first I thought like you, like maybe it was all CG, but no, because they even showed the stunt man driving it on like the streets, like the actual normal streets, and then they had him drive with the cape on because originally they were going to have a cape on Batman. They thought it would get stuck in the rear tire.
Yeah. They'd have to CG the cape.
Yeah, but no, the cape worked well because the wind resistance caught it just right.
Yeah. Okay.
But it was just badass seeing this tumbler or seeing the Batpod come to life.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought that was super
I imagine so. Crap. I mean, where is that thing at now? I wonder.
I don't know.
Like, who the hell says, "Hey, I want that bike"?
I don't know. If I was the guy who designed it, I'd probably try to keep it. You know.
Right. I mean, maybe West Coast Customs trying to make one. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe so. But yeah, they said it was a nightmare to make, but because they didn't expect to make one that could actually drive. You know, they didn't. That wasn't like part of their original plan. But once they started making it and realizing the possibilities, they ran with it. So yeah, that was super freaking cool. So yeah, after the convoy scene here, we get the scene where Batman he's basically riding towards Joker on the Batpod, and you can tell by the acting done by Christian Bale that it's at this scene where Batman wants to hit Joker with the bike, like he wants to just mow him over and get this over with, but he doesn't. He swerves at the last moment and he wipes out, and it's at this scene where we realize that Commissioner Gordon is still very much alive. Excellent plan, well executed on all three people's parts. Commissioner Gordon for playing dead for so long, convincing people that he was actually dead, and being the one to stop the Joker. Harvey Dent for taking the fall as being Batman and devising the main portion of the plan, and of course Batman for coming in and saving Harvey Dent's ass. Like, it was just a well orchestrated plan. But it was all for nothing. Joker was still a step ahead of them, which is fan freaking tastic. What you looking up there?
Me right now, I'm trying to actually. I was wondering the answer to my own question. Where is the actual Batpod bike from the Tumbler? And I don't know. It looks like just right now it's on permanent display somewhere, but they won't tell me where.
Because people like me, you would try to steal it.
I know, right?
Like either of us could drive the damn thing.
No, we couldn't.
No, we couldn't even turn that bitch. Like, which they said was a nightmare. Turning was like straightaways. They were fine on, but turning not so much fun.
Actually, it does explain it here during filming on August in 2011.
This is for The Dark Knight Rises. The stunt woman crashed when she was riding it.
Yeah, a performer crashed into an IMAX camera.
Yeah.
And, it looks pretty good post-crash still. Yeah. I'm seeing a picture of it right now, folks. It's it's still badass with a big fat tire.
Yeah.
I mean, you could sit on the tire and your butt wouldn't be hitting either edge, but yeah.
Yeah, that was in The Dark Knight Rises because Catwoman drives it a good bit in that movie.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. Let's see. Moving back here to The Dark Knight.
Sure.
What do you think of the interrogation scene?
Oh my gosh, dude! Christian Bale and Heath Ledger knew what the hell they were doing. They had a great
also Commissioner Gordon.
Also Commissioner Gordon for sure. I mean, let's not downplay that. I mean,
who is now Commissioner?
Exactly. At this point, we already had everyone applauding and Joker doing his unique Joker clap.
Yep.
Give me a second. Let me put this to battery save mode. Okay. No, the scene itself in the interrogation room. Oh my gosh, dude! You really see Batman's rage and like his. you see the complication, both physically and philosophically, between these two characters and how they play so well into each other. How one is such a great hero and the other is the greatest villain to this hero. Yeah. Literally, they are the opposing puzzle pieces to each other. And it's so amazing watching this. And it's like, one, the chemistry between, you know, Commissioner Gordon and Batman, allowing Batman to be in this room, to be in there already planning to interrogate the Joker, with the police watching, of course.
Yeah.
And then, oh man, just Heath Ledger carried his role through all of that. And I kind of believed to an extent that he literally told Christian, hey, hit me. I want you to actually beat the piss out of him. And maybe you have notes about that. I'm kind of hoping it's real. So if you say it's not, lie to me, okay? Because it looked amazing.
You know, unfortunately, on the Blu-ray edition that I have of The Dark Knight, there's a lot of extras and specials on it, but there's not a lot on Heath Ledger or or any of the main actors really.
We do hear a lot about Heath Ledger's preparation for the performance, and we hear even rumors and other stories of even Jack Nicholson coming and approaching him about the role.
Right.
But going back to this scene, if I may, I mean, like I said, philosophically, we see like Batman's entire rage and his physical power just coming down constantly.
Yeah. Well, what we really see here is Batman playing his hand and Joker seeing it and telling Batman that you have nothing. Like, nothing you do is going to work.
Right.
And you know, because it was Batman being as in control as he can, but at the same time really trying his best, because so far his tactics have worked with everyone else.
Right.
But for some reason with the Joker, it's not. Because the Joker doesn't care about your brute force. He doesn't care about his own self-being.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
And the Joker even laughs it off and says, you know, you have nothing on me. And you know, I can only imagine at that point what Batman is thinking. But Joker, he furthers the plan because he doesn't want the plan to stop there. So he tells them, he goes, okay, I'll tell you where Rachel and Harvey are at. And because of course, as soon as they arrest the Joker, you know, like Harvey goes missing. Like, damn, like his plans work like that. Like it happens fast. And so he gives up the addresses as to where Rachel and Harvey are at, and you know, tells them, hey, you know, you don't have a lot of time, so you might want to go.
Yeah.
And I have in my notes here, it's at this point where Joker wins. Joker, you can go ahead and king him. He won.
Yeah.
It was at this spot in the movie.
He blew up the jail. He tricked everyone, and he got to go away. Yeah.
Well, the reason why I say he won is because he, you know, and even though they didn't say it, it was implied heavily that one bad day can ruin any man. Of course, that's a reference from The Killing Joke, and that's exactly what happened to Harvey Dent here. Is Batman thought he was going to rescue Rachel. Nope, Joker gave him the wrong address. He had arrived at Harvey Dent's location. Harvey Dent, of course, being rescued, he gets his face set on fire. So it really is a pretty rough day for Harvey.
Yeah.
And Rachel, she bites it, man. The Gotham City Police Department don't get there in time. They get there just as the building is exploding. And so it's a super rough day for Team Good Guys.
I know, right?
You know?
Yeah.
And and Joker, while he's being held captive and everyone else is looking for Rachel and Harvey, that's when police comes in and watches him, and Joker just goads him and taunts him and basically says, you know, do you want to know which one of your friends were cowards? And you know, the police officer tries to, you know, rough him up, and we don't see it, but obviously it doesn't go too well.
Right.
Joker comes out with a shard of glass at the guy's throat, you know, asking for his phone call. He gets one of the cop's cell phones and hits a button, and then the fat guy in the cell, who is crazy and suffering, has a contusion in his stomach, which is a cell phone. It explodes, and like, damn, yep. And so Joker, he's winning.
Yeah, he rides away scot-free, literally, in a police car.
Yeah, he does. What's interesting, he was sitting in the back seat. I'm not sure who was driving.
Probably one of the other goons that actually got to live.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you didn't get the cell phone in you? Come on, you're driving, pal.
Yeah.
Would you like a cell phone?
Yeah. Oh man, do you remember the scene where Joker gets all of the money?
Oh,
he gets the
gosh.
location of it, and then
That was a great scene, and that scene in turn solidified Michael Caine's line, which I'll talk about in a second here. I mean,
some men just wanted to watch the world burn.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
thank you. You stole my second away, but
Sorry.
it's like, no, this is my half. Okay, here's some gas.
Yeah, I have in my notes here. Joker definitely burned more than his half.
Oh yeah, no, you knew that fire wasn't gonna only burn half and be obedient.
Right.
Yeah.
That
Fire doesn't give a piss.
The first, no, don't step on that, guys.
No, that's
ours.
his money. That's his 100s. It's like, no.
Oh, yeah.
Fire's like dogs.
Right. But speaking of that line, I don't want to get to it yet because we're not there yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah, that's the next movie over. We're getting there.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of movies to talk about at once.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
But it's Batman, So do you remember the next scene here where like everything is in utter and complete chaos? There's the hospitals that Joker threatened to blow up,
right?
And he does actually,
right?
Which was another great scene.
Yeah, I was about to say, and you probably saw them explaining that this was the first thing they shot in the movie making process. Yeah.
Which is pretty freaking great too.
Oh, yeah.
But the scene actually I want to talk about was that during all this chaos and mayhem, Batman he gets in his car to go provide a distraction, and it's not Batman, it's Bruce Wayne because it's in broad daylight, and he gets in a black Lamborghini Murcielago, which means bat. It translates to bat. So in broad daylight, Batman was driving a black bat, and I love that.
Cool.
Yeah, love that reference. So that was pretty badass. But yeah, so he.
Well done, Nolan. Well done.
Yeah, well done. I see what you did there, Nolan. I see what you did there.
It took some Google Translate, but we see what you did there. Yeah.
It's like, now what the hell does Murcielago mean? Bat? He was driving a black bat? Oh, shit.
I didn't know that. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. But what's also funny, though, is because this is one of the, not a lighthearted scene, but it is a kind of comedic scene here. When Bruce Wayne is driving the Murcielago, and Mr. Reese is in the back of this van with Commissioner Gordon and another officer. Joker gave the order to Gotham City, everybody, kill Mr. Reese. If you don't, I'm going to blow up another hospital.
Yeah.
And so the whole city was after Mr. Reese at this point. And
all because he knew who Batman was?
Yeah, he was about to spill the beans.
Yeah.
Shit. And it's at this point where Bruce Wayne in his Lamborghini, he looks over and he sees this guy in the big truck. Like he knows he's getting ready to try to ram this van. Bruce drives through a red light, and he takes the blow. He gets hit by the truck protecting the van that Mr. Reese and Commissioner Gordon are in. And once they're all outside the vehicle, Commissioner Gordon says, "That was a very brave thing you did, Mr. Wayne." And Bruce is like, "What are you talking about? Running a red light?" He says, "Trying to catch the light." And he goes, "You weren't trying to protect this van?" And Bruce goes, "No. Why? Who's in it?" He looks up and he makes eye contact with Mr. Reese. And it's like there's this cool moment where like they both know, like,
right,
like, you know what I just did for you, and I know that you know who I am. So it's like a cool little brief nod that they give to each other almost. But I just love Christian Bale, like, on the few times when he gets to play like the character of Bruce Wayne, because like obviously he meant to protect the van, he meant to take the hit, but
right,
as
sure.
Bruce Wayne, like, no, I was trying to make a light, man. Yeah, I was trying to make. And then he goes, "Do you think I should go to the hospital?" And Commissioner Gordon goes, "You don't watch very much TV, do you?"
Right.
Because obviously all these hospitals are getting jacked.
One cool thing, I'm thinking about it now. If the movies went on long enough, if they decided to make an entire DC universe just off of the Christopher Nolan movies and continue using the same actors and everything, I would like to imagine that this was the moment Commissioner Gordon started to think, and possibly even almost on a subconscious level, I'll even limit it to that, start thinking about, like, wait a minute, so could this guy possibly be Batman? Nah, probably not. Nah.
Well,
Well, you think about it, in the comics, eventually Commissioner Gordon and Bruce Wayne are sitting together having a drink, and they're talking pretty candidly about, like, okay, hey, you hung the cape up a while back, So, I don't know, I'm thinking, like...
The Dark Knight, Dark Knight Returns.
Well, think about it, Commissioner Gordon, and even at this point in the movies, is not a bad detective. In fact, he's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Right, A good detective eventually is going to be able to piece together, after a number of clues... And I think that this potentially could have been the first clue had the movies continued on long enough.
Yeah. I don't think there was anything about this scene that took them off, though. I think, because the way it was played out, like, he was so preoccupied with that's fireworks, people.
Wow, that's a lot of them. It's only got like one of those chains.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not saying it tipped them off. And no, because obviously that wouldn't have played into the movie well. That would have created like this whole other subplot that wouldn't have played well into anything. But
because Commissioner Gordon, especially at this point in the movie, he doesn't have time for
no one's got time for that. That's a callback.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the hospital scene, the one with, of course, our boy Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent / Two-Face, and then we have Joker. I thought it was hilarious how Joker walks in and he has the mask over his face, just covering the lower half of his face. Right. He takes it off and then Two-Face reacts. I'm like, you couldn't tell that was Joker?
Right. But no. I mean, I guess you had the backside, but you couldn't tell that was an awkwardly dressed or an awkward shaped nurse,
Like, man, damn, that's one ugly nurse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah. But I really love the hospital scene here because... Like, the two come to an understanding, not an agreement with one another, but an understanding,
Yeah.
And I thought that it was really deep to see Joker explain why and how he does what he does, and seeing Two-Face reaction to it. Because at this point, you have two men with shattered psyches trying to communicate.
Which is fascinating to watch, even on a movie level like this. And the outcome of it was awesome because both of them still played to their strengths. Two-Face relied on the coin, and Joker was all about it. Like, oh, hell yeah, now you're thinking. Yeah.
Because to Joker, like, the coin represented chaos as well, which is what Joker was. Joker says, I'm an agent of chaos. And Harvey Dent, his whole thing was that the coin is fair. And even Joker says chaos is fair. So they both, like I said, kind of have like this weird... understanding of one another at this point, which is pretty cool.
Through the lens of their own separate psyches.
Right, yeah. For my next note here, I have Batman is Big Brother. Is that a subliminal message in the movie? I'm referring to, of course, the sonar scene. Where he's hacked like all these phones, and he's able to see and hear everybody's conversation and what they're doing. And I mean, like every time I see that, I automatically think about Big Brother. Like, was Chris Nolan trying to tell us? Was he trying to warn us about something he thinks is important? He's trying to tell us about our privacy here. Because I mean, Lucius doesn't go with it, but the whole point of the scene was Batman kind of lowering his morality to do what he thinks is ultimately right. And maybe that's what sometimes our government tries to do with us.
Right, for sure. Yeah. I mean, at the same time, it still played into Batman's character, I believe. Just on a few other instances in the comics we see.
I mean, most definitely. But this scene here in particular just really stands out as like, this could definitely be something bigger that we're dealing with. So yeah, I thought it was great. Next, it's the social experiment. That's what I'll call it. And it's when you have the two fairies. On one ferry was the prisoners, and the other ferry were the people trying to escape. Yeah. And that was a really interesting social experiment. I like to believe that in reality it would happen like that. But
the Stanford ferry boats.
Yeah. That I don't know. Do not know. Yeah. What do you think about the Two-Face finale?
I thought it was really awesome that they played into that being the bigger finale. Because, let's face it, man, it's easy to let ourselves be distracted by the awesome performance Heath Ledger gave. It is easy to become a huge fan of what he's done. But Aaron did a damn good job with his too. And I'm really glad that they allowed us to go back to him and to let him have the final moment. Because you're right. That was a huge victory point for Joker. That was the checkmate. He took a good man and made him have the bad day.
Yeah.
Such a bad day that he burned half his damn body and became this psychologically damaged Two-Face, you know? And it was so cool watching that, you know? It's unfortunate that was an indirect death, you know?
Yeah.
But it was super cool watching them play into it the same right. Like, it's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about what's fair?
Yeah.
And, you know, I at the time when I first saw the movie, I was really hoping that Two-Face would live. I was like, it's unfortunate that they that he died. But in order for them to tell the rest of the story, it was a necessity.
Yeah.
Like, he had to die.
And that plays really well into another line that we haven't talked about yet, you know. You live long enough to see yourself become the villain, or you die a hero.
Yeah.
I'm serious in reverse, but you get what I'm saying.
We dropped that one earlier.
We did talk about it earlier? Okay, cool.
But that does lead us to the other famous quote at the end of the movie. Dad, why is he running? Because he has to. Because he's the hero Gotham deserves, but not the one it needs right now.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Yeah. And if I had the wherewithal, I would play my ringtone this very same song.
No.
Remember, here we go. Let's play it.
I'm trying to remember. Hans Zimmer did the music for the third movie. Who did the music for the first two?
Hans Zimmer.
It was Hans Zimmer?
Yep.
Okay.
You can definitely tell, especially with this one.
Right, yeah, no, Hans Zimmer is damn good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
I think his first big work was Pirates of the Caribbean, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Overall, man, like, you know how I feel about The Dark Knight.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, there's very little wrong I can think about it at all. My overall score for this movie is a 9.7 out of 10. Best comic book movie of all time still.
I was about to say, that's a fair judgment call to make. Yeah.
So really quick here, we're going to talk about rises here. Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna come out and say this is my least favorite movie in the trilogy.
Okay.
But watching it, there were still a lot of really cool things about it.
For sure. Yeah.
A lot of really.
They did
cool
take
things.
a list of creative liberties with this movie, but they still played together well.
I mean, I feel like this movie, as far as like Bane goes, they took some liberties with him a little bit.
I like what they made with him.
Yeah,
to be honest.
me too.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as comic book references, they used just as many as they did in the other two movies. Of course, taken from Nightfall, the classic graphic novel where Batman gets his back broken by Bane.
Yep.
And they also took heavily from No Man's Land. That's when a giant ass earthquake hits Gotham and it cuts Gotham off from the rest of civilization. And you know the people inside the city have to find a way to survive. So real quick here, the opening scene of this movie is with Bane on the airplane, with the CIA agent and all that. I have that it is equally awesome and confusing because this is my fourth time watching this movie, and I'm still not completely certain what's happening here.
Yeah, I think to an extent they are trying to do something on par, not on the same level, but on par with what they did for the Joker's character.
I mean, don't get me wrong. From a visual aspect and seeing what happened, it was really cool to see like an airplane shoot out on another airplane, and then like the parachuting scene. But trying to figure out what's going on was a bit of a hassle.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, you gotta think about it. It's jarring because this is also the introduction of, the Nolan Bane.
Yeah.
The almost military leader who's got this whole like cult mentality hammered down into these good men.
Yeah.
Or debatably.
Debatably.
Yeah. I was about to say, wait a minute.
I mean, he definitely has these guys in like a cult following because he looks to the one guy and says, "No, brother, one of us must stay for the wreckage."
Right.
And the guy does it.
He's like, okay.
Yeah.
No problem, bro. No problem.
Will the plan work, sir? Oh, yes, the plan is already in motion. He just, And the guy just goes along with it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, there's a lot given to us to take in and to accept as an audience, as a fandom. Like, Bane has this funky way of speaking with a mouthpiece. You know,
I didn't mind Tom Hardy's voice though.
No, I didn't mind it, but it was still another detail for us to take in. You know, the fact that he was this militia leader, the fact that he did have this cult following, and like these, you know, Project Bane followers, whatnot. You know, kind of going with him till death do them part.
Right. Well, he was, in his own words, he was continuing, you know, the League of Shadows. You know?
Right.
And just moving on here though, like seeing Commissioner Gordon and Bruce Wayne was heartbreaking. You know, because of course at the end of Dark Knight, you know, they had this agreement. Look, you know, our whole plan is just gonna go to shit if people find out that Harvey Dent turned.
Yeah.
You know, we got to put the blame on me. And so for 8 years now, both Bruce Wayne and Commissioner Gordon have had to live with this lie. And you can see it really eating up at them. As a matter of fact, Commissioner Gordon, at this point, he had the letter that he had written that he was going to give at this speech, saying that everything in the last 8 years has been a lie. And, you know, seeing Bruce Wayne, like, limping with a cane, like shit, it was hard to watch, you know, but it was gripping, though. It was something that we needed to see as an audience.
Yeah.
What you think about Anne Hathaway?
Great actress.
Yeah.
You know, very much so. I've really enjoyed her in other parts. To be frank, this was not my favorite of her. I mean, she was a good Selena Kyle. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't really catch on to it as much as I feel like others did. Right. You know, like it just didn't really jive with me.
I thought she was great. Like,
I
have a hard time thinking about any flaws that she had.
It wasn't really flaws. It was more just creative decisions that were done for her to do with her character. You know, I mean, I don't know. The character itself played well. I don't know. It just didn't really feel 100% fluid to me. You know, and it's hard for me to describe. But you know,
Okay. Yeah, I thought she did fantastic. Like, I love how she can play like this dual type character. You know, like in one instance she can play the damsel in distress, but then the next moment she can flip a switch and she's kicking your ass. Like, I love how, because it's not, so at least to me, like, seeing that wasn't jarring. Like, it was super smooth to see her go from badass thief to this damsel who needs to be saved.
Right.
Like, as an act.
In the bar scene, I do remember that was actually a really good scene. That was one of the best ones for her in the movie.
It was in the bar scene, and also at the very beginning as well, when Bruce Wayne catches her. She plays super coy and innocent, and then Bruce is like, "I know what you're doing," and then she just drops the act completely right there. But
wait a minute, you just stole Martha's beats, Martha.
So there's no cartilage in Bruce Wayne's knees, wear and tear in his shoulders and elbows, scar tissue in his kidneys, concussive damage on his brain, and
how much splunking did he have to do all that?
And there's scar tissue over his entire body, which means that there's no hella skiing for Bruce.
No.
Hella skiing this time. That was. I love that little scene so much. I had to go back and write all of that down. So with this movie, it's actually 46 minutes into the movie when we see Batman.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course we see him. We see him again during the chase scene here.
After the leg corrective technology, right?
Yeah. He puts on this weird funky knee brace that, like, I don't know, it's straight.
Which should be for sale, damn it.
Should be.
It'd be expensive. But...
It would be. Like, he kicked like a brick pillar and like kicked like a chunk of it out. Like, shit. Man, like, my knees are bad. I need 2 of those.
Yep.
But yeah, so we're just moving right along here in this movie. I thought that the bat, that's what he calls like the plane thing he's in.
Right.
I thought that was super cool. Like, I love the idea of it. What do you think about the bat?
Oh no, it was super fun to watch, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I mean, it looked a little funky the first time I saw it on screen, but after I saw it moving and doing all of its stuff, it was like, okay, yeah, this is cool. I'm doing this, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when the policeman was so confident, we got him now, boys. We got him trapped now.
He's trapped like a rat now.
It's like, I'm sorry, I think you have the wrong animal comparison, sir. Yeah.
Oh, that was badass.
It was.
And I just love the talk that he and Alfred has. And this is actually the last time they speak in the movie. Yeah. Was after his first outing as Batman in 8 years. He comes back.
He did spend a lot of time outside of Gotham, too. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Alfred leaves Gotham until the end of the movie. But yeah, I just love the entire scene when Alfred reveals to Bruce, like, he basically says, I don't think you can beat Bane. He also basically says, you need to move on with your life. When Rachel died, you didn't move on. Then he goes on to say, basically like, Rachel, she didn't choose you. She chose Harvey. And she wrote a letter to you telling you that, but to spare you the grief, I burned that letter. And that was such a emotional scene. Like, it was damn good scene. And then, after that, they kind of say their goodbyes to each other, and that's the last we see of Alfred until like the finale. But it was a super powerful scene, and I loved it. Loved that part. I think that this movie has by far the best fights out of the entire trilogy. Oh yeah. I think that's definitely one of this movie's strengths. Is the choreography, and like just how much of it there is amazing. I love the fights here.
Well, let's think about it logically for a second, if I can pull us aside. So first movie's villain, we bounce between Scarecrow and Liam Neeson. Then second movie we have Heath Ledger. Okay, cool. Then the third movie we have Tom Hardy. Of those sets of people and actors, I would give Tom Hardy the medal for most physical in general. He looked like he was the good football player. So I'd totally be relying on him to have some awesome kick-ass fights, especially with Christian Bale.
The Batman and Bane fight, the one we get in the sewers, that's actually my personal favorite fight scene in a superhero movie of all time. And reason being is because for this scene, Chris Nolan, he cuts the music out so there's no music, trying to hype up the fight. All you hear is fireworks, like we just heard.
All right. Bang.
No fireworks, but all you hear is like the two of them fighting, like grunting. You hear leaky pipes in the background. And it just feels and sounds so brutal and so real. We see Batman use every trick he can think of. Every idea he comes up with just doesn't work because, of course, Bane knows them all. We see this intense physicality. Like, we see Batman trying to do everything he can, but nothing's working. And all along, they are not only giving us an exciting 5-minute fight scene, but they're also giving us some great storytelling. And I feel like a lot of movies don't know that art, don't know how to tell a story while showing us a fight. This movie did it, and I say it did it perfectly. We see, of course, we get the theocracy and deception of powerful agents to the uninitiated, but we are initiated, aren't we, Bruce? And of course, we get the whole quote about, the shadows. I was born in the shadows, raised and molded by it. By the time I saw light, it was only blinding. Yeah. I really love this scene.
I can tell.
Yeah. And everyone should do yourselves a favor, listeners. Like, go back and watch this scene right here. It's the best scene in the movie, and it is fan-fucking-tastic. Unfortunately, after this, it does take a dive as far as pacing goes.
It did, yeah. Yeah.
It took a pretty strong dive to me. Do you remember the airport scene when Selena, she's trying to take a plane to get out of town, but she gets caught by...
And that weird dude comes up out of nowhere, and they have like this flirtatious moment. Is that what you're talking about? No. Is that a different movie? That's a different movie, I think. Never mind. I'm mixing movies, man. Shit, yeah. I'm losing my energy over here. Damn.
I can tell. Like, the sick guy's outpacing you here.
Let me get some of that cough syrup, buddy. No. The airport scene. Describe it to me then.
Yeah, so she tries to to take a plane to leave Gotham because she knows that some shit's going down.
Right.
I remember she just basically betrayed Batman and gave Batman to Bane. She's trying to get out of town, and long story short, John Blake, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he stops her and interrogates her, and asking about what's going on with our mutual friend, being Batman, and it was during this scene where she says, in reference to him asking her about Bane, that she's trying to get out of town. She's not trying to get away from the cops. She's trying to get away from Bane. And John Blake replies, well, we can protect you. And at this point, because I saw this movie in theaters, and at this point, I don't think that we were supposed to, but the audience erupted with laughter because we just saw what Bane did to Batman. And when I saw that scene, it instantly reminded me of the sheer laughter that line brought us as the audience, because
I don't remember that. Yeah,
because we were so sold on the idea that no, you're not stopping Bane. If Bane wants something, Bane's gonna get it. And yeah, so I thought that was pretty memorable. Why send every cop you have into the sewers?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That was one of the things that kind of made me raise an eyebrow in that moment. It's just like, That was one of those things that happened because the plot needed it to happen. Right, yeah. It made for a cool, made for a cool couple of scenes and, ideas. This whole, oh, man, what is that game? Damn it. Division.
Yeah, it felt a lot like Division at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have your rebellion.
Right.
That was cool.
Yeah.
And there was there was one cop on the surface still.
Yeah.
No, two.
John Blake
Gordon.
and Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
They're able to sneak in a couple of, I guess, special ops guys, and were able to sneak on the island.
Whoa.
But so Commissioner Gordon, man, in The Dark Knight, he the plan he comes up with was freaking amazing, and it was so strategic and smart. But in this one, he comes up with a plan that just makes no sense. Let's send every cop we have into the sewers, all of them. I mean, you could have said let's send half. I'll even give you 70% of them, but all of them though, it just wasn't It didn't make any sense, and it didn't help Commissioner Gordon's character.
Right.
So, another cool, it's a factoid / question that I have here is, in this movie, they say that there's 12 million people in Gotham. But in The Dark Knight, as Batman is hacking all the cell phones for his sonar, Lucius says, this technology wasn't made to spy on 30 million people. So I'm like, whoa, wait a minute now. Which is it? Is there 30 million people in Gotham or 12? According to this movie, The Dark Knight Rises, there's definitely 12. Maybe
that was just with a harder border.
Yeah, maybe
The Dark Knight was
maybe
using.
17 million left after the Joker bullshit. I can see that. I'm not.
Damn, the Joker was freaking Holocaust for Gotham then. If I'm allowed to do such a thing.
There were some open jobs if they went from 30 million to 12 million.
Entire facilities needed whole new staffs.
Yeah.
Just all around.
I have written here also that Tom Hardy didn't have to play Bane. He could have played Deathstroke.
I can see that.
Yeah.
It looks like the Deathstroke that they chose is going to be pretty awesome too.
Yeah. But you got to remember, in 2012 there was no sign of him. Not even on Arrow. All we had was.
In that case, who would you have chosen to be Bane then, if not Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy is awesome, so he did a great job with Bane anyway.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's damn good. Yeah, there's a reason Christopher Nolan chose him to be in the Nolan gang.
The fact of the matter is, though, Chris Nolan made a sacrifice. He got someone who was small for Bane, but had the acting prowess to carry an entire movie with a mask on his face. I don't know who, but as far as the physical aspect, I feel like he needed someone a little bit bigger, a little imposing, because Tom Hardy and Christian Bale, they're actually the same height. I mean, don't get me wrong, Tom Hardy got jacked for the role,
Right, yeah.
but like I don't know, it's hard to bring Bane to the big screen and do him complete justice.
I don't know. The first guy, whenever you're talking about size, first one comes to mind that can actually still act decently is The Rock.
It'd be an interesting challenge for him, but we're gonna see him as a Black Adam here in a couple
Also,
years.
yes, yeah. Yep. I don't know then. Yeah, I'd have to stew on that for some time.
Yeah. What you think about the Ra's al Ghul cameo? Do you think there's just a vision in Bruce's head, or do you think that there's a part of Ra's al Ghul that was still actually alive?
I mean, knowing what I know from the comics, of course, that's always a possibility. Yeah. I think for the sake of the movie, though, that was definitely a vision.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Definitely a crap, I'm in pain, this is happening vision.
Yeah, I think something that's left to our interpretation. But
right.
Yeah, I think that, he was definitely just an illusion, unfortunately. But it was still a dope cameo, though.
Right. You know who I would have loved to have seen a cameo of, though?
Who's that?
Maybe playing into like a side of guilt that Batman feels to an extent, a side of regret even. I would have loved to have seen Harvey Dent again. You know?
I mean, like
just like as another vision like that. You
Oh,
know? Yeah, exactly. Not like
I think,
he didn't die. No,
I think
not
with
that BS.
with Ra's al Ghul it makes sense, but I think if you do it with Harvey, it becomes a little hokey.
I can see that. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it would have been like a brief reminder of the grief that he's also been carrying, you know?
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know. I thought it would have been cool.
Yeah. Where is this prison pit, and how does Bruce get from there back to Gotham?
Yeah, that was a huge plot hole I never understood. Like, all of a sudden, he's in this damn prison pit hole. Like, who manages this hole?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. No one needs to manage it, per se, because how are you going to get out?
How are they still living? Who gets them food? Where does this come from?
For me, that wasn't much of an issue because, like, I can imagine because Bane
I started thinking about all this shit. Honestly,
because Bane he obviously frequents that place, pretty frequently. I think that when he goes there, he delivers men and supplies, and because Bane is all about orchestrating an army. So
you mean he uses the pit now as a facility to resource him? Is what you? So. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's
I mean, that was just my my subconscious thought about the matter. Okay. I never really, but yeah, like smarter people than I have said that. Well, since they get TV reception down there for Gotham News, they can't be too far. But I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Where is this damn pit? And then like once again, like all ways into Gotham were cut off. So
it's in New Jersey.
I mean, so how do you get into Gotham if all ways are cut off? And where the hell is this pit from nowhere?
Well, I mean, we don't know Gotham's terrain because we don't know where Gotham is. So, I mean, there you have it.
Well, I mean, like, Gotham's terrain isn't really the issue, though, because we know that all ways into Gotham were cut off.
Right, yeah. But I'm saying if that place is not far outside of Gotham, then, I mean... Yeah. For one, it looked like some foreign place. It looked like it was in a daggum desert. Yeah. I doubt there's a desert outside of Gotham. Yeah.
Unless Gotham is in, like, Pakistan.
I think it's one of those just don't think about it things.
Yeah. It is. And I feel like maybe this movie was a little rushed because I think that Chris and John Nolan and David Goyer, maybe they had, like, a different plot going in mind, but then of course the tragic accident with Heath Ledger led them to have to change things. With them being pressured from Warner Brothers to produce another movie. I don't know. I feel like maybe they were a little rushed for time as far as coming up with a cohesive plot because we know they can. They've done it twice, and this one stumbles a little bit. So from the 1 hour and 16 minute mark to the 2 hour and 6 minute mark, we have no Batman. And because of the slight pacing issues, it's noticeable.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
It's in the middle of the movie, like that middle chunk of the movie. We get no Batman. About 40 minutes, there's no Batman. The Talia reveal. I thought the reveal was good because it led us one direction with us thinking that Bane was the child of Ra's al Ghul, And then they go the direction, nope, it's not Bane, it's actually Talia. She was the child who escaped from the pit.
Yeah.
Bane was the protector inside the pit. And, so I thought that was a really cool reveal there. To see that this character who we thought was a friend is actually, nope, she's the son of the demon. Oh, not the son, she's the daughter of the demon.
Yep.
That funeral scene after the bomb explodes and Batman kneels finally. That funeral scene. It still gets me.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah, we see Alfred again, and Alfred. Oh man, he said something along the lines of, "I failed you. I said I protected you, but I failed you." And damn, Michael Caine, like, why you make me feel these feelings?
I know, right?
Yeah,
you're too damn good, man. Yeah.
John Blake, aka Robin. I thought this was an interesting turn of events here. Like, it was a cool way to introduce a concept of that character,
right?
Because obviously, like, his name is John Blake, and I thought that was brilliant on Chris Nolan's part by not giving him a name from a comic book character. Same thing with Talia. Like, her name, well, she had
her pseudonym.
Yeah. And then we find out that she's Talia al Ghul.
Yeah.
And with him, like, he goes by John Blake, but his real name is Robin. And of course, Bruce, planning ahead here, had already had like a package together, giving like GPS location to the Batcave. And then, of course, we see John, he gets to it and he sees the cave in all its glory and all the stuff there. And I'm like, shit, like, I don't know what I would do if I was John Blake right there. Like, all this is mine. I'm going to be so irresponsible.
I have no idea either. Yeah. Damn. I mean, I'd be all over the place, man. I'd probably put on the suit as soon as I could, Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be giddy.
Yeah. He needs a computer, though. Like, a computer that talks to him, like one of those smart AIs to help him out.
He needs
or the Batman Beyond suit. He needs that.
He needs Oracle.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Well,
indeed.
Commissioner Gordon used to have a daughter/niece that gets shot.
Damn. And that just went dark.
Yep. I mean, but all around though, I still really enjoyed The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Like, I think this movie gets a little unnecessary flack sometimes because some people said that it's garbage. It certainly isn't garbage.
No, it wasn't garbage, definitely. I mean, it wasn't the strongest movie, but...
Yeah, to me, it's far from garbage. Definitely far from garbage. I think that the strengths in this movie were damn good. I mean, like I said, that Bane and Batman fight, to me, is riveting. That first one.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Like, it's hard to do better than that. To tell me that story and show me that kind of brutal action is unprecedented. It's still amazing. Overall, I still have to give this movie an 8.5 out of 10.
Cool. Okay.
Yep. So let me ask you this, Kevin. So now that we've in depth talked about the Dark Knight trilogy as a whole, how do you feel that this trilogy stacks up to other superhero movie trilogies?
Honestly, it's still one of the most outstanding trilogies. I mean,
because like we have the Iron Man trilogy, there's the Captain America trilogy, there's the first X-Men trilogy, there's the Wolverine trilogy.
Even that. Honestly, I mean, this is still one of the most outstanding trilogies there is because, think about it. Who has Ben Affleck compared to whenever his idea of him being Batman and then his role in Batman and then his second role in Batman came out? Who was he constantly being compared to? The Christian Bale Batman. That was like the newest staple for a generation and even a newer appreciating generation from an older age of fans. And people all over jumping hard on this like, oh my gosh. Christian Bale was the shit. Christopher Nolan was the amazing director. I mean, and people still fan out over the Heath Ledger performance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because going to the movie, people talked a lot of shit. They said that it's going to be terrible.
Right. A lot of people didn't expect it,
And I just love how people change their tunes, complete 180.
Oh, yeah. Man.
But there are a lot of really good comic book trilogies out there.
Right.
But
and some of them didn't really play the trilogy card, I don't think,
Well, I mean, not in the sense of telling a cohesive story,
Right?
Not like
You
the
know,
Dark
like
Knight.
the Wolverine trilogy. You know, yeah.
But it still counts as a trilogy because it's 3 movies with the same team.
Yeah,
You know?
for sure. Yeah,
Same thing.
it was definitely that triad.
You know, same thing with the Captain America or the X-Men or the second X-Men trilogy, soon to be a quadrilogy actually. But yeah, I mean, out of all these, because actually you got to remember also the Dark Knight trilogy wasn't initially going to be a trilogy.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, well, they did Batman Begins, and they planned on just that being it. They did they didn't know that.
We would have never got anything.
Yeah,
Dang,
they didn't know that
yeah.
there was going to be anything else. And
Wow.
then
I guess they saw the success and said, "Well, we can't stop."
Yeah, they got the green light to do the next one.
Okay. Cool.
And then after the Dark Knight, they didn't know they were going to do another one. Yeah, they had no idea.
Okay.
And then they got the green light again. So yeah.
I guess that's why the movies kind of stop the way they do. You know.
Yeah.
Like the first one stops at the Joker card reveal, and then I'll look into it. And it's like that could have been an ending if it never never became a trilogy. So okay,
Right.
would have always left us wondering like, ooh, what would have happened?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm glad it played out the way it did.
Oh yeah, me too. Most definitely.
For sure.
But yeah, man, freaking Dark Knight trilogy is still amazing. Still love it. Any closing remarks you have, my friend?
Nothing quite too heavy. I mean, overall, I still thoroughly enjoyed the trilogy for sure.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed sitting here talking about the trilogy. It's definitely been a challenge to talk about all 3 movies in one podcast.
My only challenge was talking with a busted throat.
For sure, yeah. Which you've done quite well, my friend. Yeah.
No sexual innuendo intended on that, people. I did not mean for that to sound.
It's okay. I was trying to plow right through it for you, buddy.
Yeah, but I appreciate it. I had to acknowledge it.
Okay. But no, either way, I mean, for sure they're good movies, not just to watch, but also to rewatch and go back to. They're still enjoyable.
Let me ask you one last question here before we close up shop here.
What's up?
What do you think the overarching story of this trilogy was?
There's a couple of themes you could pull from it.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of the big primary ones is stand for what you believe in, because Batman in a criticizing world stood for justice constantly,
Right.
In the face of crazy psychological issues with all of the people he was fighting, in the face of people that broke him in totally different ways, each of them.
Oh, yeah.
There's also obviously a great theme of sometimes being the hero doesn't mean being covered in glory and love and all that. Sometimes it means doing the hard shit.
It means making the hard decisions.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's definitely reflective themes of that in a few of the movies there.
Right.
But yeah, man, no, there's definitely some awesome themes being played there. Also, don't be afraid of the theatricals and the deception, of course. Yeah, that's one for sure.
Yes. Yeah. Oh man! Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
It is
midnight
here now. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Happy 2018, buddy.
Happy 2018 as well. Hopefully the 2018 will be as awesome and as fun as this podcast.
Indeed.
Yep. And hopefully there will not be any. Damn.
Someone bought a lot of fireworks.
Yeah. We are celebrating New Year's with you guys.
Woo!
Yeah.
Maybe we should open the studio windows here and.
Nope, it's done.
Too late. We're done.
Oh man, but yeah, we really love the Dark Knight trilogy, and but yeah, this podcast has been the longest we've had so far.
How long have we hit, buddy?
I've anticipated this. I'm surprised we didn't go longer, but it's because I'm not feeling well. We have gone on for we're at 2 hours and 32 minutes.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
Hot damn! Yeah, this one's gonna be a record.
Oh yeah. Oh man, but so just to wrap this up though, this coming Wednesday will be Captain America.
Yep.
The first Avenger. So the very
Continuing
first Captain.
the MCU series.
Oh yeah. And we actually have not discussed what next Sunday's podcast is going to be, but
yeah, I was thinking about that. We don't got no plans.
we have plenty of options, but haven't chosen yet.
For sure.
But, we'll definitely let you guys know that on Wednesday what the next Sunday cast will be. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoy the Dark Knight trilogy as much as we did.
Amen.
And I hope you guys are well. Hope you guys have a freaking badass 2018, man.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes. And of course, still, be safe out there, whatever the hell you're doing, for sure, you know?
Whatever you're doing, whether you're drinking, shooting fireworks, having an orgy, whatever it is you're doing out there, be
Listening
safe.
us to recover from your New Year's hangover.
Your
Yeah.
New Year's hangover and your New Year's orgy. Yeah.
Damn, that's a hell of a party.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
And we're here sitting in our little microphone booths just talking away.
Oh, yeah. But hey, guys, it has been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. We're going to close this thing up here.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
And so, as you guys already know, I'm Sick Quentin.
I'm Healthy Kevin.
Till next time, guys.